ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 313th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. Oh boy, there's so much stuff to talk about. I'm the clown prince of podcast trash now.
Ooh, yeah, there's so many good, juicy nicknames. I'm just going to go with I'm gonna go Ghost Rider, Taylor Field.
Can I go?
Yeah.
I am your friendly neighborhood caster, Kirkland Patzer.
That's everyone throwing the shade at me. I try my best, I work hard, I play hard. Maybe I wolf hard. I don't know. We'll see one day. Yeah, we got tons of stuff to talk about today. We're talking about Feige and Star Wars. We're talking about Batman casting. We're talking about Ghost Rider in the MCU. We're talking about Jurassic World cast, and among little other things along the way. Any plugs? On Patreon, it'll be up there this weekend. Me, Kirkland, and Taylor just record our Watchmen retrospective. Man, was it a fun one. Do you want to hear a conversation about Dr. Manhattan's dick versus the Hulk's dick? It's in there. So, and we actually break down I think it was a really good one. We got political. We got really in deep. So, and we had some fun along the way. So you want to check that out. Then next week, finally, one more week. Joker is here. The movie that apparently once we see is just going to make us all psychopaths and start killing everybody if you believe some certain critics. But yeah, we're never going to survive. We're going to see this and we're going to go nuts just like video games. We're going to start shooting people and killing people. It's going to be great. But before we start killing all those people, we are going to review that movie. It's going to be, if something bad happens, I'm going to really feel bad that I said that. But you know what? It's not going to, because movies don't create psychopaths, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, next week is the Joker review. That's going to be a spicy one, I think. I
think so.
Yeah. So we got that. What else is dropping in October? You guys will be reviewing Zombieland 2. And then we have the retro that will be dropping in the beginning of October. You got a Player's Perspective dropping.
I got Player's Perspective. It's on Patreon right now, but it'll drop publicly October 1st for Luigi's Mansion and Celebration Luigi's Mansion 3, which we'll probably be reviewing that
100%. I don't know when that review's coming out because the game comes out the day before the 24-hour stream, so fuck you, Nintendo. But we're gonna try our best. So yeah, Kirkland, you got anything to plug?
No, just a lot of exciting things that are coming.
Disney Plus is soon on the horizon.
That's crazy. I feel like it's still like one of those things that's like it's just out of my reach, and I feel like I'll never actually get it, but it's actually coming. So
yeah, it's gonna be
I
great.
feel like I actually have to come to reality with it.
You know what could be a reality? Gentlemen, this is a newscast. We're going to be talking about movie, TV news, a little gaming news. We're going to start off with the biggest topics. Let's just dive right into it. The Jurassic World... No.
Oh, damn. There's so many big topics. I don't know where you're going to start.
We're starting with Feige going into Star Wars. The biggest one. The Feige fighters are all out because last night when we were recording our Watchmen Retro, I see a little notification on my phone. I see Kevin Feige against Star Wars, and I think, he's just going to be like, I like Star Wars, I really hate Star Wars, whatever it's going to be. But then I see that he is producing/developing a movie with Kathleen Kennedy. We don't know anything as far as timing, plot. The only word going around that he has approached a major star, and they are going to star in it. We don't know if that's an actor, actress, if it's someone MCU. Let's just start before we get into the actor speculation. Let's just start. First thoughts, Feige developing a Star Wars movie.
Everybody's looking at me, so I'll take it. This is pretty insane because I feel like Kevin Feige is one of those characters. He's not very much a character. He's a real person. He's one of those people that I lived most of my life not knowing who he was, but in like recent years, he's just become such a big part of my life. With all the Marvel MCU stuff going on, just a lot of like GeekVerse memes that have kind of like derived from that guy, and he's just I don't know. I feel like.
We have a Patreon tier named after him, the Feige Fighters tier.
Yeah.
It's a good tier.
Yeah, absolutely. And just goes to show how much he's impacted all of our lives, I feel. And it's one of those things, like, I don't know, like having him in the Star Wars category, it's one of those things that I didn't think would ever happen. And it's not like it was one of those, maybe I'm just too like naive and not like thinking about like the big picture, the big money ticket items where I'm like, man, you know who would be an awesome pairing? Kevin Feige and Star Wars. But when that news happened, I felt like I was kind of in disbelief at first, and then when you said that it was actually like, what did you say?
Confirmed.
Well,
it was A+. Yeah.
A+.
We have a tier here now at GeekVerse for scoops or like rumors and whatnot. There's like A+ tier, which is like Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and then there's like B, C+ tiers, which are people that like I'd say are right about 50% of the time. Then there's the C, or I think it's like the CD tier, which it's like maybe a 25. I think, no, that's like a 1 out of 10 stories are right. Then there's the F tier where it's like, we got this covered, or Cosmic Book News, never believe them. And I think Cosmic Book News put out a story today where like Hugh Jackman's playing Doctor Doom, and it was like, They have no. It's just someone close to production. So don't believe anything those guys
Just like
put
fan
out there.
fiction.
100%, and they get clicks and they get money from it. So I guess good for you. But yeah, so this was an A+ tier rumor. Now it's S tier because Disney confirmed it later on that night.
Yeah, that's crazy. 'Cause just like in the moment when you told us, I felt like I was kind of in shock a little bit. But like when I was driving home, because I don't live too close to Travis,
Not yet.
Unfortunately. Not yet. But I had time to think, just stew on it, and like just the potential that could come out of this. Like, I don't know, like this is just one movie, so don't get too ahead of yourself on like a saga like what we have with the original 6 movies. Or the original trilogy, whatever you want to call it. Some people kind of disown those prequels, but
Not George.
But no, just one movie. But like just thinking about what could come from this, like if this just blows everyone out of the water and just like Feige becomes the new like Star Wars guy. I know we were kind of speculating on who we think might be directing it. We were kind of throwing the Russo brothers around there.
Wow, I threw that first one.
Wow, that we.
I said we.
No. Last night I said that, and then these two went, oh. So we came up with that. Wow, you bastard.
We were brainstorming.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
No, but just I don't know. I feel like it's just such a those are like some crazy ingredients on like a stew and just a great meal that could come out of this. So I'm just over the moon hyped. I can't really I don't know. I'm so hyped. I'm losing my words over here. So what do you feel?
I was not expecting it. Oh Jesus, Travis.
That's what most people call me. Continue.
Oh Jesus. But I'm happy about it. I was reading these like headlines this morning, and they were like, "Oh, is Kathleen Kennedy scared? Feige's taking her job."
No, because she's the one that hired him. Yeah, well, let's save the Kathleen Kennedy stuff till after, because I think some people are being a little hyperbolic with that.
They were good articles.
Is she scared? No, she's not scared.
But yeah, I'm very much excited. Saya.
Oh no! Check out last week's newscast. No, Saya Feige.
Oh, but I'm super excited for Feige doing this, and like you, Kirkland, he was not like a household name in my home. I didn't know who he was until like we started doing the podcast. I was like, oh, okay, Kevin Feige. I know who you are now, and you're like, yeah, you're a meme or whatever. And it sucks because I can't talk to other people. I'll talk to other people in my life like, hey, Kevin Feige, and they're like, nope. And I'm like, well,
yeah, I throw that word or like that name around so much, just like Feige, and like so many people don't pick it up. But yeah,
it's like you uncultured swines,
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but some of them probably.
Do your parents know who Kevin Feige is?
I'd have to pose that question. My mom, not a chance.
So
my dad, maybe.
So from that last statement, your mom is an uncultured swine.
At this point, yes, she is.
Wow.
Sorry, Mom. Uh-oh.
Taylor's a real Feige fighter.
Oh, but yeah, I'm just curious, like, okay, what are they going to do, like, timeline-wise? What's this film? If it's just a standalone film, that makes me more excited, like, because it doesn't always have to be a trilogy. I like these standalone anthology films like Rogue One and Solo. I think, there's
Why'd
a lot
you
of...
laugh?
Yeah.
Just thinking of
he knows
myself.
he's a minority in that category.
But I would love to see more anthology stories and what they're going to do with that, and I think there's so much potential. Like, okay, what era, I hope Feige just breaks boundaries and goes, like, outside of, like, this 9-film saga and does a storyline outside of it,
like a different formula from the
a different formula.
And
I'm thinking it'll be something, obviously, like all of his movies are extremely like colorful. Like Endgame was obviously, I'd say, the exception. It felt very darker and all that stuff, but I feel like it would be something very colorful and vibrant, and he could bring a really nice approach to it, because so much of Star Wars is just that. It's so colorful, unique, and just visually stunning. So I think he's got that kind of mind and that eye for it. And him being a Star Wars fan is even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good thing, because I didn't actually know he was like a big Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah.
So that's fantastic. So I would love to have like him in a room with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and all three of them just pump something out good.
And Kathleen Kennedy. Who's the president of Lucasfilm?
Yeah, I guess.
She's the reason Feige's doing this movie.
She's too busy shaking in her boots.
She runs Lucasfilm. She is the Feige of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, but what if Feige just went straight up to Bob Iger and was like, "Hey, Bob, Just let me scooch
I feel
on
like
in
you didn't
there.
even know who Bob Iger was till like 4 weeks ago, and you're throwing.
No,
his name up
I
big time.
learned who Bob Iger was when all this solo stuff starts happening.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
even know who that is.
That's the CEO, president of Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel
it goes Bob Iger, then Alan Horn, and then there's like the trickles of like Kevin Feige and like Kathleen Kennedy,
siblings.
Where's
and
Mickey
like
Mouse
who
in that
Pixar. Mickey Mouse is S
He's
tier.
a
You don't
above
see him. He's
Yeah.
like
Bob
Gus
Iger.
in Breaking Bad. He's just around running a restaurant, but
Yeah.
he's behind it all. He's working on Walt Disney's Frozen body.
Hey Taylor, you were talking about amazing visuals for Kevin Feige. You know who's also good at that?
Who?
Zack Snyder. Where's our Zack Snyder cut for these Star Wars movies?
Let's not.
God, a 3.5 hour of frickin' Snyder Star Wars film with
Yeah.
blue aliens.
I would be down for him to direct an episode of a TV show, Zack Snyder. I think
Like on
that
Disney
would work.
Plus or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Yeah.
like get his visuals in there. I think that'd be good, but I don't want to give Zack Snyder the keys to anything
I was
Star Wars or Disney related.
I was very surprised that actually Bryce Dallas Howard actually directed a couple episodes of Mandalorian.
Well, she's directing now, so why? And her father
just-
directed Solo, right?
Yeah, I guess
She
so.
has that
I don't know. I
time.
just thought like, oh, like is it like she has like interest in it, or is it because like her dad was connected into like directing Solo, or like I was
She
just
said
wondering
she's
like,
a fan.
So
So
she is?
yeah, and I think
Okay.
it's just like I think TV. It is a big job, but Jon Favreau's the runner. It's the same thing as Feige, right? When you're a showrunner, Feige is just the producer, and he gets directors. But at the end of the day, if Feige wants something done or wants you gone, it's gonna happen. So same thing. If Bryce Dallas Howard was just like, oh, and all of a sudden the Mandalorian like explodes, and this Twi'lek's our main character now, he'd be like, no, like you're not gonna direct this episode. So.
See, you just said it. What Feige wants you gone or whatever, it happens. So if he wants Kathleen
No,
Kennedy
but
gone,
that's because I'm talking about Marvel. I'm gonna get back into what the movie sphere is. Like we can predict who and what could be in the movie. With Feige doing this, so Kathleen Kennedy re-signed for 2 years, and the thing that's funny is Feige has planned out till 2021. So I think this movie still is quite a few years off, or they're gonna have to still be producing it. They're going to have to find actors, writers, directors, whether, like I said, my pick or our pick apparently was the Russo brothers. I think the other one, I think he's too busy because he's doing Black Panther 2, but I would just die for them to get Ryan Coogler in there who did Black Panther. That's like my dream pick for his director, but maybe it's someone new. He likes working with new people. We didn't know who the Russo brothers were until they were the guys from Community, right? So I think this makes sense, but I've listened to a lot of cast day of podcasts I enjoy, and everyone's just like, this was a no-brainer. And I do understand that because it's been rumored for a while and whatnot, but I just felt like just some of that like stunt casting, it just felt like maybe just too good to be true. Just like, oh, Star Wars is in trouble. What do we do? Oh, we'll just put Feige in there. Like it was so like memed about that I just feel like now this isn't going to happen. I just don't see the crossover happening yet. And the fact that it's happening now, it is just one movie, and I think it's going to be just a start because I think Star Wars is just trying to find like their footing and what they're going to do. And Marvel took the same thing for a while. Like they had Perlmutter in there, they had some like maybe Iron Man 2 that Steve Jobs didn't like, but the first phase of Marvel has some not misses but maybe some stumbles. This is like if you look at Force Awakens to Episode 9, that's like their phase of like Disney Star Wars, right? So they had some hits with all of them are hits like financially except for Solo. So they're trying to find their way. They got the Game of Thrones trilogy coming, they got Ryan Johnson's trilogy, and now they have this. And the other thing that I thought of too, I said this to Dylan when we did the Disney Plus break or the D23 breakdown, I feel like they are trying to go for fanfare. Them announcing the Obi-Wan series, that's a full-on fan, like let's make the fans happy move. And announcing Kevin Feige is doing a Star Wars movie, that's another just like make the fans happy.
Yeah.
So like the word is that he pitched her a movie and she loved it. That could be the way it could go, but I think this is designed just to be a trial movie. He might just do one movie and that's it. It just might be he just wants to do a Star Wars movie because I think there's still a chance he's not doing Marvel in a few years. I think he's going to move up because the guy who's Alan Horn, Bob Iger brought him out of retirement to fill that position. So he's going to retire again at some point. And I think that Feige is going to get like a huge position. If you look what he did with MCU and the Endgame's biggest movie, I think eventually he won't be running MCU or Star Wars. But the thing is, it does kind of work out. So I think they'll use this as a chance. Feige's going to go to his Star Wars. Let's see how the fans react. They're not announcing he's the new president. They're not announcing a new saga or like a 22 Star Wars thing, whatever. It's just one movie. Let's see how it goes. If the fans love it, then maybe they go, okay, maybe this is a good idea to leave with Feige. If the fans are mixed, then it's like, well, we let Kevin make his movie. I think Kevin can do anything he wants in there. I think he could adopt one of their children if he wanted to after Endgame, So,
Yeah.
and I understand, like, no matter what you think, even if you think Endgame for some reason like the worst comic movie of all time, you can't deny the success of it. So if it is the biggest movie of all time, clearly he's doing something right. And for me, I'm a fan of all his stuff. I think he does fantastic work. You look at what he's done, this 23 film arc, it's unprecedented. Every film, it's almost averaged $1 billion in all these 23 movies. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just he's the golden goose right now. So it's almost like, why wouldn't you try it? So if you're not a fan of his stuff, I do understand, but you got to think about it from a business perspective. If you don't love the MCU, it doesn't matter because they just want it. They want Star Wars. They don't want another Solo. It's Mike Tyson quote. Everyone has a plan to get punched in the face. And I think Solo was their punch in the face. I think they thought no matter what we put out Star Wars, it's going to be successful. And Solo came out and that really shook them. I think they thought like, oh, we got popular people like Donald Glover and Woody Harrelson. Solo's a popular character. People are loving Star Wars. And whether that's Last Jedi, whatever it is, but they took a hit. So I think they're just trying to find their footing. And I think Feige, I just can't doubt that guy. I did many times. And after Endgame, I never would. Even after Infinity War, I was like, I don't think they can top this. Infinity War is just too good. And I think they did that with Endgame. Once you give me that portal scene and it all made sense and it didn't feel just rushed and it just felt right and natural, that's like, this guy can do anything. So for me, I've tweeted this. I'm like, to doubt Feige is to court death, because you can't look at what he's done and be like, oh, this is a bad idea. Like, from a quality, maybe you don't like it, but for me, I have no reason to doubt that he's not going to at least make something good, something satisfying, right?
Yeah.
Taylor, you got a shit-eating grin on your face.
I got a question. So if I knocked on your door right now and said, I want to adopt your kids, what would you say?
Yeah, just let me have like free screenings. Let me have I can't. No, of course not. I'm not going to let them adopt my kids. It was just a fun thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna say
Oh,
something?
and that the other thing is with Kathleen Kennedy, she signed 2 years. Who knows if she wants to do this? So Feige could be a good replacement if he doesn't get moved up to a higher position, and that's where this is a good test. I don't know if he runs both. I don't know if he moves away from Marvel after he's done 5 phases, but I think this is just a trial and error. I don't think this is hey, we're doing this. So right when Kathleen's done, you're doing it. And Kathleen, she's like, everyone can say stuff about her, but I love how so many people, including Taylor, but like praise the hell out of Rogue One. But then the rest of the stuff, like, Kathleen Kennedy, they're always showing like those memes of her.
I'm just memeing about it. I think that stuff is hilarious.
No, I know. I'm going after the people that aren't, because like if you hate everything that's happened with Star Wars and Disney, then more power to you. Then it's Kathleen Kennedy. But I see so many people that like, oh, Rogue One was great, but the rest are shit, and it's just like it's retreads. But it's like at the end of the day, she still greenlit Rogue One, said this is a good idea. The story is some guy pitched it to her and he said, yeah, let's do that. Similar Feige thing. So it's like, and even then, other than Solo, all 3 of those other films have been billion-dollar things. She gave us Obi-Wan. Maybe was it a little late? Yeah, but she's doing it now. Mandalorian looks great. And the funny thing is with Disney and MCU, it's so funny that Jon Favreau is showrunning The Mandalorian. He directed Iron Man. And then you have Taika Waititi, who's directing an episode of Mandalorian. And now you have Kevin Feige doing a movie. You can see that MCU, they want that formula. Does it work for Star Wars? We'll find out, but why wouldn't you try it, I feel
like there's also some parallels between just the type of movies like that we've seen through the MCU as well as what Star Wars is. Like it has very similar like audience, it's kind of for everyone, but I feel like majority of it's for, I don't know, like families and kids.
It's a family adventure.
Yeah.
Lucas said he made them all for space.
Wow.
This one's for space.
He made them for kids or kids movies.
Yeah, so I feel like they kind of like they have some parallels in that aspect, and like what we've seen from Kevin Feige, just like you already mentioned, like the 23 movie arc is just, I feel like it'll go down as just like a masterpiece.
It is.
Like that whole thing. And
because
then
it's like even if you don't if you hate every movie, you can't deny how did you
success
pull
of
it
it.
off?
Yeah.
How did you pull that? It's crazy. A movie like Avatar that was on top for 10 years got
Yeah.
debunked by this. Like, just crazy.
Like 23 movies syncing together like that could have just gone so terribly, but
Oh, yeah.
it ended up so good. And
It could have went bad with Avengers the very first time when they
Yeah.
put that all over. Like, who is this? I got to watch this movie. Blah blah blah. Like, and that's what happened when Avengers came out. Lots of people didn't like doubt it because like, this has never happened before. Are people gonna be able to follow the story? And I think there's enough mainstream people that just go and watch like a fun time movie. But
Yeah.
he pulled that off. He's done all these landmarks.
no,
you know?
for sure.
And nobody else is DC, Transformers. Other people have tried the cinematic universe, and it hasn't been working for him.
Yeah,
You know?
no, for sure. But just going back to like the parallels between MCU and Star Wars, I feel like yeah, there are some aspects between the two of them that like they're a little bit, I don't know, like they have some conflicts. They have some bad guys in there with kind of darker, I don't know, moments for these characters. Some of them dying and all that stuff. But like overall, they're just fun movies to go, whether you're with friends or family. Like majority of audiences will like them. And I feel like Kevin Feige, what we've seen him do from the MCU, I feel like it'll just transition so well to Star Wars. And I don't know, for me, I'm just so excited. Just potential there, right? For whether it is a standalone movie or if it's just so successful that they would be beating their heads if they didn't get Kevin Feige back, right? For more, whether it's another standalone movie or just continuing on a saga, who knows? But
yeah, well, I want to talk about the next. The only thing I want to throw is like I am excited to see Feige do something else. He produced 13 comic book movies before he started the MCU. Then he did that. I'm excited to see it because that's where I'll be on the bandwagon of people that might be doubters. Stuff like the MCU humor I really like, but I think in some movies it works better than not. So an example for me is Doctor Strange. I think the humor in there, lots of it falls completely flat. And for me, if he's doing Star Wars, I want him to have still the Feiginess, but still a different take, not the exact same. Because for me, if he brings in like that MCU humor, it's gonna clash with me. The same way in Last Jedi, I don't like that Poe makes mom jokes, or stuff like that. I don't like. There's just certain weird humor in Star Wars. I think there's a type of dry, almost British-like humor sometimes with Star Wars, and you gotta hit that properly. And that's one thing that if I'm looking at anything that negative for Feige, I don't want that to happen. I don't want him to bring in that. But that's where this is a test for him. I still want to see he might not do that. He might just do that in the MCU all the time because like that's what they've set, right? But it can't be a carbon copy. So I think lots of people are worrying of like, oh, it's going to be like the MCU and Star Wars. Exactly. I don't think it will be. If it is, then we'll talk about that whenever we review this movie, and maybe it'll work or be disappointing. But I trust him enough to make it different. I feel like he does that enough with Marvel all the time. Like Civil War has humor, but I feel like it's less so, same as Black Panther. So
he should bring in like if he wants that dry British humor, bring in like Rowan Atkinson to direct. That'd be wild.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
To direct the Kevin Feige
Star Wars movie.
Has Rowan Atkinson even directed anything?
Maybe Mr. Bean's Holiday. I can't remember.
God.
Rowan Atkinson, famous Mr. Bean, who's also never directed a zero thing. He's going to direct Feige's movie. Yeah. So this is what I want to ask you guys now. What do you think it will be? Do you think it'll be something new? Do you think it'll be prequel? Do you think it'll be in our current timeline? Do you think it'll be a character like that's it's based off? What do you think? Because also we have no information. But before we get to the actor, what do we think, or what are you wanting to see out of this?
I'll take the first swing at bat here. What I definitely want to see is something new, something a little old, something a little Old Republic, something along those lines. I'm gonna just go ahead and put my guess on that as well, not tied to like the Battle of Yavin and all, like everything that's happened kind of slightly before or after that. I feel, I don't know, just introducing someone like Kevin Feige, I feel like he'd be such a perfect person to kind of take them in somewhere that they've never really been before.
So here's my counter.
Oh, here we go.
And this is what I don't know, and this is because I've been going back and forth all day. He's coming from Marvel, where obviously he's a big fan of, like, he reads a comic book and goes, I want to tell this story, I want to adapt this character. That's my counter of, like, what if he has seen that with Star Wars? What if he's like, I want to tell, like, a young Luke Skywalker story or something like that? And I'm on your route that I'd rather see something new, but with his history, is there something, even in Legends, that's not even canon anymore? He's like, I'd like to tell this story of, like, let's say it is just Knights of the Old Republic. I don't even know if he would do that because it's a little darker, but maybe he would. And let's say I love this fucking game, I want to come adapt it. I guess that's a bad example because that's still something newish, but I mean, like, let's say he's gonna do a Yoda prequel movie, like, that's my one worry is with Marvel. Not my worry, but that's why I think, could he do that because he's so used to adapting stories or characters he already loves instead of, he hasn't made anything new technically. That's what I'm saying, which sounds bad, but like, he's adapted and changed things, but he's never been like, this is a new Marvel hero, the Night Monkey,
That is a good little counter argument to what I was saying. Just from like going from past things that he's done, it is a pattern of him doing adaptations, right? Not just like original, I don't know, IPs if you want to call it that. Yeah. But that is interesting. But for me, like personally, from what I would want, I just feel like they've done so many things just tied to what we've already gotten through Star Wars, whether it's Solo, we get a recap of that. Rogue One, we get basically what happened right before A New Hope, and then I'm missing one in there. Solo? No, I already said Solo.
But you get those sagas in there that they're new, but they're still based off things we love in the past, right? Han, Luke, Leia.
Yeah, so I feel like, again, it's hard for me because I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, if I knew what he was what he was thinking, I would just say right now.
You'd be a lot richer.
Yeah, but I just really don't want to be like stuck in where we are in Star Wars, where it's kind of either building off of what like George Lucas kind of started with, or like just kind of giving some backstory to what happened before the events of like the original Star Wars stuff. So I don't know. I'm also a huge fan of like the Star Wars novels. I haven't read too many of them, but from the ones that I have read, they're just phenomenal. So there's so much like amazing material out there. So if he wants to go that route where he's not necessarily making something brand new, but just making a really good adaptation on it from it to a big screen, I think that would just be another great option.
Because Favreau isn't doing that. Like, The Mandalorian isn't like a Legends tale, but he said that it takes stuff from the prequels, the Clone Wars, and he's name dropped Legends lots of times. Like, it takes ideas from that. So, same thing. Who knows? He could take something that is kind of I think if he did Legends, it'd be the exact same thing as comic books, where the storyline Civil War is very different from the movie and the comic book. In the movie, it's about Bucky and it's about the Sokovia Accords. In the comic book, it's literally like it's just about the superhero masks thing. You know, like, it's similar, but he's changed it. So I could see him doing almost the exact same he's doing with Marvel right now, is take a Legend story. And I hope if he is adapting something, it's something like that. I don't want young Luke. I don't want...
exactly.
There's those photos of like Sebastian Stan and he looks like him. I don't want anything like that. I want something that we haven't seen live action before, you know?
No, I'm totally in your route. And like for Star Wars, whether you want to take anything from like Clone Wars or just like the Legends novels, there's just so much like lore out there that whether he doesn't want to, or not necessarily doesn't want to, he just thinks it'd be better to go off of something that's already been or not necessarily established, just been created, and he's
a proven
doing,
brand.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
exactly.
And that's where I hope though that Solo will make them go, oh, we could try something else, because Solo you would think should be a proven brand, right? And it didn't perform.
No,
so
for sure.
That's where it's like, if Solo is great, maybe say, oh, we're in a pickle. But I think he doesn't have to be like, you got to make a Princess Leia movie. If he wants to, then great. If that's what his idea is, and he has a really cool idea for a young Leia movie, then do it. But I don't think it's like, I don't think they laid it out and said like, here are the 10 properties we want you to do. And like the rumor is that like he pitched it, so I don't know what that is, but I'm hoping Solo kind of proves that it's not a guaranteed success. I think it has to come down to a good movie and what people want. And I don't think. Maybe I can't say that. There's of course somebody out there that wants a young Luke or young Leia movie, but that's something I don't want. You know, it's something I don't think many people do. I think they don't want to see the actors that we knew and love at that age like recasted. You know,
no, for sure. And I feel like a lot of people kind of have similar views on the whole like Solo. I'm just gonna take it as an example where it's a great character that a lot of people just grown to love, or you just love them from the beginning, and then like from the studio standpoint, they're like, oh, this character everybody loves, it's so we'll make so much money, or everybody will love it because they love that character, and we'll just redo it. Where it didn't work. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for you. You know, and
a lot of people like whether you like it or not. Even if it was the best Star Wars movie of all time, it didn't financially succeed. Right? So there was something there. People didn't want it. The quality wasn't good enough that people didn't turn out to go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing I was gonna say is just. You said that Kevin Feige was the one that pitched
that's what who knows how these things go, but that's the report, and then they confirmed the report that apparently he went to Kathleen Kennedy, said this is the movie I want to do, and who knows, there's the idea that Bob Iger could have said, hey, no matter what Kevin pitches, like, we're doing this movie, and she's like, okay, great. But I don't know, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's just like he probably does have a good idea, but it's just also this guy did just produce Endgame, and you're just kind of like, why would you say no? You know, like, even on her standpoint, is like, I think she's a smart businesswoman. So even if she didn't even love the idea, she is though. As
you're saying businesswoman, I thought you're gonna. I don't know why I thought you were gonna say bitch.
No,
I just heard you say bitch.
Wow,
I was about to be like, whoa, Travis.
No, and that's the thing. She is one of the most successful movie producers of all time. Before she even started doing the Star Wars stuff, she inherited that from George Lucas because he named her president. So I think that no matter what, even if it's a good idea, it's the same thing as Obi-Wan. Maybe she looks at me like, why do we do an Obi-Wan series? But it's just like, look at all these metrics people have been talking about since we bought them. Like, let's just do it. Yeah, and I think, like I said that back at D23, I think whether it's her or the camp, they're trying to do more things to please the fans. And, like Endgame, biggest movie of all time, how do you not? And Kevin Feige, too, like, even then, he could have, who knows, there could be a version where he went to Bob Iger and was like, hey, I'm going to go direct a Batman, or I'm going to go produce a Batman movie if you don't let me do Star Wars. And they're like, okay, well, we'll just tell people you pitched it and go ahead. Like, he is in that state where, he could do whatever he wanted. They don't want to lose him, because if tomorrow it came out that Kevin Feige is leaving Disney, every single movie studio will be bidding after him.
Yeah.
Netflix, Warner Brothers, Universal. He'll be the most wanted man in Hollywood. So it doesn't matter if he wants to do like, I don't know, Home Alone fights Iron Man. All right, Feige, go ahead and do it. You know, like they're just gonna do what he says right now because it's just like we talk about 23 movies to back. Like he has
got that Feige
this
magic.
huge resume. Like you can't deny it. So, but I don't know if it was a pitch, but I believe they had a meeting and they met. And like I said, even if she doesn't like the idea, sure, Kevin, let's do it. And it's one movie. If it was a saga, then I'd be like, okay, but it's one movie.
No.
Maybe he just wants to do one more.
Yeah, I like this is definitely a big guess on my part, but I just feel like a guy from his standpoint, he wouldn't agree to something unless he kind of has like an idea of where he would want to go with it, like a general direction on where he would kind of want, like not necessarily a full-on story, but just an idea on whether he wants it to be around, I don't know, Battle of Yavin, you know, like that era, or if he wants to go later, or he's read some Legends and he just wants to get in that category.
Yeah, I don't think he went in there and just said, I just want to make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
I'm bored. I want to do Star Wars.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance, too, that you look at Iron Man. Iron Man alone is just a solo movie. It's not till the end credits. I don't think they're going to introduce end credits in the Star Wars, but you never know. But the thing is, that's a solo movie, and then if you stay past end credits, you see this Nick Fury thing. But if you don't see the Nick Fury thing, it's completely a fine standalone movie. I think he'll do the exact same with this, because maybe there's a chance, too, that maybe they've talked to him about moving up, and he said to them, like, before I get to a position where I'm not going to be as hands-on with film, I'll be a more corporate role. Like, I really want to do a Star Wars. And they said, well, let's make that happen. Because, like, Kathleen's here for 2 more years. Alan Horn's going to be around for a little bit. So maybe it could just be one and done. That like, hey, I just want to do one Star Wars movie. And then you can send me into an office and I'll, answer questions and stocks and whatnot. So, Taylor, what do you want out of a Kevin
I got
Feige
a lot
movie?
I need to chime in here.
I know you have. You can just jump right in.
No, because my topic is, it's like not off topic, but it's like, it's a different path.
It's a Kathleen
you guys,
Kennedy fanfic.
Yeah. You guys are going down a certain path, but no, I think that when you look at all these, if you look at all these movies that Disney has produced and pumped out right now, it's all been heavily based and originated on the original trilogy. That's like even the game Star Wars Battlefront 1, when that came out, it was based on the original trilogy. They were targeting
Jedi
Fallen Order again. It's stemming from the original trilogy,
and like even just like
everything.
The timeline where they all reference it to the Battle of Yavin. Like when
oh
they're
yeah,
talking about
that's dark time.
It's a significant event that happens at Yavin for sure. But I mean, even Star Wars. Resistance obviously is in their own thing, and then Rebels was another one that was kind of based out of that. Like all this stuff is all it all is based on the 3 movies that George Lucas originally created, the OG trilogy, and they did that because they're playing it safe, and they wanted to wipe out all the other extra legends and stuff because they wanted to build a new universe that stems from that, so they could play it safe and they could try to be successful. And again, like you look at Rogue One, Solo, everything, it's all stemming from that. Even Mandalorian is again stemming right after Return of the Jedi, and then Obi-Wan series is in the years before, A New Hope. Like it's all
I would
connected.
say Mandalorian is the outlier though, because it's 6 years after Return of the Jedi, isn't it? And it's still about a character we don't know, so we don't know if Mandalorian's going to live or die.
That's
right?
true, but then again, it's also based. They're progressing off of this world that they created, because in Rebels they focused heavily on the Mandalorians that kind of like they dived into from like the Clone Wars, and like Disney's got a thing for Mandalorians. Or just Jon Favreau, but it's again there's something that they're
I think he does.
They're building up this kind of their own world, and I think at this point now that they've reached this part in their universe, I think that they can look at avenues that they can expand on once they complete their new sequel trilogy. I think it all depends what they're gonna do for, like with Ryan's trilogy and the Game of Thrones guys, yeah. But I genuinely think that Feige is coming in here and he's. If he's looking at the comics and he likes to tackle those kind of stories and stuff, I think he's probably not looking at something that is in the original trilogy that we've got. I don't think he's looking at like a Yoda movie, a young Luke, a young Leia, or something like that. I think those are stories
Young Mace
that could be
with Michael B. Jordan.
No, I don't think
Ryan
he's.
Coogler?
I don't think he's looking at anything like that. I think he's probably looking not even at obscure things, but the way I see it is, someone like Feige, the way he has done these Marvel movies is he's looking at specific stories that could connect with the universe as a whole, and I think it would probably like lead up to certain things. So I'm thinking, I could totally see him, maybe not, because he probably wouldn't do something very dark, but I would love to see him do something like a Plagueis film,
No.
or something. No, that would be sick.
No. I'm not saying it wouldn't be bad, because people have thrown that out. They've thrown out Emperor. They've thrown out Darth Bane. I just don't think his first crack at the bat is a villain type movie. I could be completely wrong. I just don't get that vibe that it's going to be in the villainous sense. Especially because Feige, you look at early Marvel phase, films were very unimportant to him. I think he's learned now that the value of villains, but I think he's also learned that at Marvel, they put the heroes first, right? They want those to be the star of the film. So I think he would do that in this first film.
They do, but then I think, with Star Wars, you also have to realize that, it's not just the heroes being put first. Like, look at Kylo Ren. There's a character who's a villain, and he's put first as well. Like, they're major characters. Even, like, Darth Vader, and then how much excitement people had for Ian McDiarmid coming out as Palpatine.
The counter is those are the saga movies. Villains aren't that important in, I'd say, the spin-offs. I think Krennic and Darth Vader are kind of there. Viden Ross is kind of there. Like,
it's
they're
true,
not big
but it's
deals in the spin-off movies.
Because they're not built up to be big deals.
Yeah.
If you look at someone like Michael B. Jordan. If you look at his character,
Wow.
and I remembered his name.
Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at his character, like,
just
he was a villain that everyone, you love. Like, he just, you believe, like, his idea, and he's a villain that definitely gets the spotlight for sure compared to, like, so many other Marvel villains. And I think if a villain is done like that in a Star Wars role, it could have a huge, like, effect. And I think, he doesn't necessarily have to do something Old Republic related, because when you think of Old Republic, it is very dark, and it has, like, that's a lot of stories that would have to be spread over, like, a trilogy or something. But you could tackle something like, okay, maybe just following, like, the rule of two with just doing a Darth Bane movie, or just a character about Bane.
I love that I just said I don't see that happening. You're like, oh yeah, Darth. All the people you're pitching are Siths. I just don't think that's where his allegiance lies. Because also Black Panther got set up in Civil War, though, so that's why you could have Michael B. Jordan have such a big role, because we already love Black Panther. That is my worry about him picking a character, though, that we already know and love, that he picks, like, a young Luke in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and that's where you get, like, a Mara Jade-esque villain or something like that.
I really hope he wouldn't do that.
Could you see him doing, like, a brand new character, not necessarily evil, but, like,
just in general? It's tough, because his track record would say no, but then I'd say maybe that's what he wants to do, because he's been doing that for so many years, and with Marvel he can do that, because I just don't know, because I think no matter what you do with if it's a Luke, Leia, Han, their stories are set. We know we're gonna know their endings. We'll know Leia's soon, so it's like you can do a prequel, and that's, to me, it's just like a fun tale, but it's not really an important story. Their stories are mainly set in the sagas, so I just don't see anybody of note that he would want to tackle. Like, yeah, I'm kind of joking about Michael B. Jordan as Mace Windu, because I just think that's like a great fan cast, but like I don't see there's a character right now where I feel Obi-Wan was that character where I felt this needs to happen and his story could be told more. I don't know if there's a character right now in Star Wars that needs that right now, because I think it's either someone needs it or all the people I would think of are unneeded, like a Solo. Like, I didn't need to see the Castle Run. I didn't need to see him meet Chewie, so I guess if I had a gun in my head, I would lean towards a new character. But the thing I was going to ask you, Taylor, because you were talking about, because before you start getting on your Dark Plagueis thing, if it was new, do you think it would still be prequel, or would he do something concurrent to the saga where it's?
I don't think he'll do anything that is happening around the new trilogy. I think that's kind of I think they're still building this world, and I think even though after episode 9 comes out, I don't think they want to touch what happens after episode 9. Obviously in Legends they go and cover like the next 2 generations with like Cade Skywalker and what's happening with the new Sith Order and Darth Krayt and stuff like that. And in this sense, like, yes, it doesn't exist anymore, but it's such an interesting kind of world and what happens there with like the Yuuzhan Vong and like the New Republic and stuff that they probably want to keep that locked and sealed so that they can tackle that at their own accord.
That's no, that's not what I mean. I don't mean he's gonna put out like Rey, a Star Wars story. I mean somewhere, some other planet that is happening at the exact same time, like a Rogue One versus maybe Rogue One is a bad example. A Solo, even though Solo for some reason ties in the rebellion at the end. Most of his movies just off the side while Empire's starting to take over, right? Luke's out there, Leia's out there, but this is about Han Solo. What if not even during the trilogy? What if it's after Episode 9? Rey's killed Kylo, blah blah. It's all happy, but then off in a different galaxy somewhere else, the story's going on that has nothing to do with the main thing. But when I talked about like Iron Man, what if he leaves it up in a way that it could coalesce and kind of combine itself, because they were thinking about doing that with Darth Maul, right? They had tipped their toes and they're like, we want to like make a concurrent like sequels, or like we took them from canon, so they've dipped their toes in the like continuity shared universe. That's why I wonder, could it be that?
It really depends. Like if they create their own character, then they can do whatever they want with it. But if he's picking a character from like Legends or something that we already know, then we know that, okay, this character, no matter what, has ties or connections with these certain like events or these certain things. Because Star Wars is so intertwined, especially in this universe now, and it's like he's coming into a universe that's already established. He's not coming into the scenario where he's creating the universe. So
that's a new thing for him.
Yeah,
it kind of is, because like with Marvel was created, but he just to do the film world, right? But this is a film franchise that's already, he can't start from scratch and redo things. What if it comes out in 3 years that he's just remaking episodes 7, 8, and 9?
That'd be fucking wild.
Or better yet, what if he just says, "Yeah, this is in a different like multiverse."
Oh no, the multiverse, the world between worlds. I'd be so down if they said he was remaking the prequels. I'd be there for that,
I don't know. I think the prequels. I think the prequels are okay where they stand. I think they've aged to a certain degree, and people have kind of. I think we've kind of grown to we've moved past it. I think now I can accept the prequels for what
you
they
always
are.
accept them. You've always liked them. Don't throw me into this.
A lot of great memes have come out of it.
I don't care. I don't hate the people, but people just being like, I grew up with these and I love them until I got on the internet. I didn't know people hate them. Shame on you. These are great movies. They're still all bad. I think they're bad movies. They're fun movies, but they're bad.
I think
they're
Disney has done a good job at giving them, like embracing them under Disney's roof, and then giving them
Not if you ask George.
What are you talking about? The prequels?
Yeah, okay. I think Disney is like they've taken in the prequels and they've done a good job at trying to promote them, and just even in the new trilogy, like give subtle nods to like those things, like Kylo Ren saying maybe Snoke should consider using like a clone army, like stuff like that. Like those kind of things are like it shows that they're respecting it, even bringing in like prequel characters into their series like Rebels, and even incorporating that into like novels and stuff. Like I think it's
not
just
movies though.
In some ways, yes, there is some.
I guess Darth Maul, I forgot, in Solo.
Darth Maul and Admiral Yularen.
No, I don't count fucking Jimmy's.
That?
What's his name? Yeah.
He's actually in The New Hope.
Good. Well, then why'd you throw him out? He's not a prequel character.
Yeah, he is. He's in the Clone Wars.
But wait a second. You said he's in A New Hope?
Yeah, he's in A New Hope as well.
No. But he was in A New Hope first, and then they put him in Clone Wars, right?
Well, technically,
it doesn't no.
Technically, they
There's
did
no
that thing where they cast.
Travis.
They did that thing where they just took a random character in A New Hope and they just gave him the name after the fact. Just kind of like how in Return of the Jedi, that one of those rebels is technically, I think, Rex, the clone.
Okay, but still, that doesn't count as a prequel.
It's getting you on technicalities.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Here.
It doesn't. If they were in that movie first, so you want to see some sort of villain-ish?
I would like to see something very out of the box, but like connected to the story. I don't want to see anything that happens within the events of the 9 films. I want it to be outside of that and to the side a little bit. I also am thinking.
Well, Plagueis still would kind of have that, right? Because he's still attached to Palpatine, and you would have
but
that.
But that was like
lead.
before the first.
It was before the first, yeah.
Or
but
not the
still,
first, episode 1.
Yeah, but Rogue One's before episode 4, but it has something to do with it, right? Because eventually, in Plagueis, you'd bump into like a fucking young.
The prequels.
You'd bump into like a young Palpatine, like
But it doesn't even have to. Like all we know is that Plagueis like lived for a long time, and it could cover like him and his master. It could cover something like them looking at this plan, and then having Jedi thrown into the mix, like young Dooku or something like that thrown in there.
Give me young Qui-Gon. You're not young
Qui-Gon. Well, if you get young Dooku, you get young Qui-Gon. You get what's his name, Raz or
Reyes. Yeah, Reyes, isn't it? My favorite Jedi from that book. Yeah,
the Jedi that sleeps around.
He's not my favorite, obviously, because I can't even remember his name.
That's his title. The Jedi that sleeps around.
He's great. He gets it on with everybody. But
attaboy.
Yeah, I would. I don't know what I honestly just go whatever Feige's going to do. I trust him. Honestly, I would say Knights of the Republic, but I've said that with Ryan Johnson. I've said that Game of Thrones. I just want anybody to do Knights of the Republic at this point, so I don't want to throw that out there because I feel like I'd be a broken record. So I just I trust in King Kevin. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't care what he does. If he announces, like I said, a young Leia, then I'll go, then I'm disappointed. But I'm going to wait to see what he announces because it still might be, we're not going to know at least until next year. I think they're going to do Star Wars Celebration. They said there's no more details because of Episode 9. So Star Wars Celebration, I think next year, do we have a date on that? I think it's August. I think it's August. So we're going to get that. And then I'm not sure if, I don't, because they announced those 3 Star Wars movies. Are those Game of Thrones movies like still definitely happening?
I think so, because they've unveiled like their calendar, right, of like what they
That's
have.
yeah, I
coming
know,
out,
but things
so
can change though, right?
They can, but I think for now it's just they've
'Cause-
confirmed like this is what's going right now.
Because at one point it was a trilogy, but now they've said that they're just going to write the first movie. So I think they're not feeling as confident as Game of Thrones writers as they once were when they hired them.
When you mentioned that they weren't talking about anything until after episode 9, do you think that has anything, like any possibilities that it's kind of linked to events after episode 9?
Maybe, because if it is, let's say, Taylor might think I'm wrong, but if it is a movie that's concurrent to the episode 9 or after it's in the world, it's not a prequel, it's literally set with what's going on, then yeah, it'll have something to do with some sort of effects. Hopefully that means the bad guys won and Kylo Ren's still alive, and Feige just does Kylo the movie, and I'm all.
They got so much world building to do. Like even again, like I said, like with the novels, those are all stemmed out from the original trilogy.
In the movies, we still don't even know how the First Order became a thing.
I know, and that's definitely a really hard thing to, for the general crowd, because if you read like the Aftermath books, or if you look into like all this backstory stuff, you can see how the First Order has come to life. Like people don't know that the First Order leaked details about Vader being Leia's father, so that Leia would actually lose credibility in the New Republic.
That's a great plot point that would have been great in the movies to see.
It's super cool, but then people, in the movies, they don't get to see that aspect, and that's a huge detail, because it's like, okay, why is the New Republic against the idea of having a huge military? It's because they don't want another Palpatine situation where someone has ultimate power, so they have a smaller military.
Maybe Feige was reading that. He's
maybe he
got an
probably
idea.
has.
He is the guy. That's because that's where I do think, and if that's where, like, I don't want to say Knights of the Republic, but that's where he could be the guy. If you're going to do a series, he would be the guy to do that, because he's not going to let any of those details slip. If he's going to do one movie, and I don't think it would be like the games where it'd be like a guy loses his memory and that whole twist. I think it would just be set. These are the old times, the Jedi, Sith. There's armies of them, and I want like an Endgame version of like with Jedis and Siths.
Oh baby,
yeah. Like I want.
Got chills when you said that.
What we got on what was it, Geonosis, right?
Oh yeah, in the the
Clone
arena.
Wars.
Yeah. I want that again, but I want more. I want not even just Feige. I want any Star Wars movie to bring back when it's not just two Sith. I want the wars.
No,
going
totally.
on. And maybe he could do that with the Knights of the Republic and set it up.
See, that's what I was kind of thinking about. I actually Googled Kevin Feige's age because I wasn't sure. And I wasn't sure if he was like...
It said priceless, didn't it?
It said priceless. It said ageless.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure, like... I don't know. I'm trying to do some like deep dives on what he might be thinking. What if he wants to do like another extended universe? If he is, I don't know. I don't want to say done with Marvel, but just looking towards something else. If he wants to build a full-on universe with like a Star Wars thing, I feel again, I'm kind of fanboying here, but I feel like he would just be such a perfect person to set up a full-on extended universe and then like dive way back then, right?
Yeah.
In like the old Republic era.
Other directors do movies in Old Republic.
Yeah,
I just call
exactly.
like you said, like we have all those like the Resistance era, the Empire era, like just do an Old Republic era.
Yeah.
And it's all these movies that is set 5,000 years before the movies, and they don't affect it at all. Maybe you see
Totally.
like a baby Yoda somewhere, but other than that, nothing.
He's not even a baby. He's like a teenager. That's just how old he is.
You could definitely get away with that, but again, it's hard because you can't really
Why are
I
you
see it
pushing
like
back on Kirkland's idea? Taylor?
Huh?
Why are you
Yeah,
pushing
Taylor.
back on his idea?
I would love that to happen, but at the same time, like he still can't just come in and create like a whole universe where people come in like other directors and build movies off of that universe.
Why
because,
couldn't he?
Yeah, he's Kevin Feige, man.
He did that with Marvel.
Because the way I see it, like the universe has created and been stemmed by what George Lucas did and this Battle of Yavin whole situation.
Yeah, well, you got to be
and-
like him and get over it. He's out of the fucking picture, all right?
yeah. But that being said, like
which is great. We know now that Kevin Feige and George Lucas do have to meet, though, because George Lucas always meets like producers and writers, so that's going to be an interesting conversation.
at this point, it's
why
just
do you always wear those
I want to be a
hats?
fly on the wall.
Yeah. Why do you always wear those hats?
at this point,
I
it's
didn't
just
like Endgame.
everyone. Oh God.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that Howard the Duck wasn't in it that much. Which George Lucas produced a Howard the Duck movie, by the way. So there you go.
That's so good.
At this point, everyone that's creating these movies is just adding to the universe that has been established. That's what Disney has been just kind of like trekking through and just building on top of this universe, but in a direction outwards.
Yeah.
Am I okay with them doing that? Absolutely. I'd like to see them try just to like, it's like setting up like a a beachhead somewhere else and then building out of there, or a new. It's like going a beachhead or like
what the fuck is a beachhead?
Like a war term, you know? Right?
Yeah, it's like setting up like another like an outpost, or like let's say like we've established this whole community and everything on Earth. It's like going to another planet and setting up a whole new like system and universe
colony.
there. Yeah, colony, and then building outwards from that. And that's technically like him. Okay, I'm gonna set up a whole new world in the Old Republic and build outwards from there. You know, which would be interesting to see because so far they're just building outwards from the world that is the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send so many emails to Feige of just Thrawn images and be like,
I think you're
Feige?
blocked at this point, honestly.
And he's like,
Oh,
who's
no.
that?
I don't think they're getting through.
do it, give me Thrawn.
Who's Thrawn?
I'm predicting now
He
between
just sends the gift back.
in the next 5 years we're gonna get Thrawn in live action somehow.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't know if you're right, but I'm not. It's not like Ghost Rider, which we'll talk about, which I was very confident on. I think that you could possibly see, but it's just I don't know. I felt you kind of talked yourself into Feige doing Old Republic stuff because I feel like he does one movie and then they can play in any playground and it's still building upon because you can say eventually this leads to the rule of two and Palpatine.
It depends.
And like,
it all
you could
depends.
even have Plagueis in there, but it's not Plagueis the movie, which I don't think is going to happen. You could have eventually, let's say he does a movie and then they make like same thing Avengers. Let's say it ends up being 5 movies. In one of these movies, you just introduce even a young Plagueis or something like that, where it's like this guy will become something down the line, and maybe we get some of that backstory, but it doesn't have to be connecting to the OG trilogy.
I don't have enough information to really like.
Well, none of us do.
Just to kind of go forward with it, because like yes, I
We're
would.
supposed to guess for the listeners.
I know, but it's like
Oh, damn
he's
it.
all we know is that he's going to be doing one movie, so I can't really just go on a limb and be like, okay, yeah, 3 movie deal, we're going to get this whole trilogy, because I can't see, anything serious in the Old Republic with tons of Jedis, tons of Sith being in one movie. I feel like that's too much of a
movie
connected
deal, man.
movie.
Can
What's
you
that?
imagine? Just like, I have a 23 movie deal with Star Wars.
If
Kevin
he
Feige
just dropped that, then 23
can't
movie
drop
Old Republic, holy shit. But I don't think like at this point, like I'm open to the idea, but I have to wait and see. Like, okay, if he's like, okay, we're gonna be doing Old Republic, but we're gonna bump it up to a few more movies, because I feel like you can't tackle a brand new universe like the Old Republic from what we know.
Yeah, but you have that same thing of, let's say the Game of Thrones guys are doing the Old Republic and they do their first movie and then it sucks and then it's just done, right? So no matter what, you can plan, once again, Mike Tyson, you can plan for anything to get punched in the face. So same thing, they wanted to do a solo too, right? But guess what? They're not doing a solo too. So it's the same thing. I could say that for anybody. If Game of Thrones guys can come out and say, or even Ryan Johnson, I'm doing Knights of the Old Republic and we're doing 3 movies. First one comes out, bombs. No one cares about. They don't see it. Then it's like, well, that's not happening. So no matter what, you got to start with one movie. So why not get the guy who started with Iron Man? The same with Iron Man, right? It was one movie, but it set up the potential for other worlds and to expand. The same thing. That's why I don't think you'd get the video game of like the guy waking up with amnesia and like big cliffhangers. I think they'd have to do, you could maybe have Revan in there, but you'd have to do something completely different just in that time period. And what if the first movie is just like a Jedi going through the trials, learning something like that, setting up that world, but then it ends where a way of like, look at New Hope even. The way it ends, you don't need a sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
They blow up the Death Star, they get medals, that's very happy. Yes, there's things left open, but you could just assume if there was never an Empire Strikes Back, oh, they just won because they took out the big Death Star. And last time you saw Darth Vader, he's going, oh no, and he was like driving a ship. So you could just say after New Hope, boom, it's done. We don't need any more, but then they got more. Obviously, Empire was different, but they knew they were in a trilogy then. So I think the same thing. He'll make one where if it was Old Republic or whatever it is, where it is a movie you could watch start to finish and be done, but if it's successful and people like it, Feige, okay, let's do one more. Then they could say, oh, let's do 2 more of these.
Yeah, and that's totally okay. It would have to be done in a way that sets that up. I'm trying to think like, okay, what kind of a story could they tackle? Because anything Old Republic is going to have, you can imagine it would have to be done good because there's so many Jedi and so many Sith at that time. There's so many, like the Mandalorian Wars. There's so much crazy shit happening during that time.
But you don't
period.
start with the crazy shit. You start it simple. Same thing as Iron Man. They didn't also say, oh, and Captain Marvel's been around, and there's Skrulls. Oh, and Captain America, there's Red Skull. Oh, the Tesseract. Oh, we also think there's some guy up there, alien named Thanos. They didn't do that. That stuff was in the world, but they just started with Iron Man on adventure. What if you just Jedi Kirkland Pats, or it's his adventure, and then he gets brought into the whatever it is, the greater picture or the Jedi Order, whatever it is.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
I'd
I
be
mean,
okay.
To be fair, I would go dark side. I'm just gonna say.
There you
right
go.
now.
Wow.
I think I'm just getting like overwhelmed just because there's so much and it just blows my mind. So I have to I don't know. I have to hear more leaks and details from your comicbook.com or whatever that.
No. We need.
I'll
A
go to
plus
them for
scoopers.
their details.
The janky one. Yeah.
Well, you know what one is? I imagine, I don't think we'll get any more details, but I think when they do the episode 9 press tour, Kathleen Kennedy will get a lot of questions. So I think we'll still hear like a tad things, even just like, oh, it's this many years away. She might even say like, yeah, that's a long ways off because he has the MCU plan out to 2021. So I imagine there could be a chance that that's when he jumps over and does it, and maybe someone else, either he is producing these movies or there's like another person that's gonna like co-run MCU with him now.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so on that one.
Just one last thing.
You're throwing the Zack Snyder shade tonight. Wow.
I brought him up first. I think I set him off.
Did.
Just one last thing on the whole like Knights, or not necessarily Knights of the Old Republic, just
the
old
Feige of Old Republic.
Feige of Old Republic we'll go with. It's just like, it'd be so interesting for them to just do a standalone in that era because it's so different from everything that we've seen. It's so far away from like what the era that we've kind of been in Star Wars.
It's all unknown in movie world.
No,
right?
totally. And like Kevin Feige has just gotten like, I have full faith in that guy. So like I feel like if anyone could just kickstart like a new Star Wars era, I feel like he would kind of be the one to lead us down that path. So I'm so just excited for the future and what's coming.
If he went in there and pitched a fucking Dengar movie, I'd be like, well, we're letting Feige do a Dengar movie, you know? So this is what I'll throw you because we've kind of almost finished everything up with this. They said that he has a major actor tapped to it. Give me your prediction of who you think it could be and give me your want of who you think it could be. I don't want to go right away. I'll go first. So my want, I said this in the group chat, I already said this. I think Michael B. Jordan. I think if you, let's say you were doing an Iron Man-esque following a main character, you have Michael B. Jordan as your main character. That sells a lot of things. You got diversity because we've never had a black lead in Star Wars. And then you also just got, in my opinion, one of the best actors in the world right now. And I just think Michael B. Jordan and Star Wars just as like goes together like peanut butter and chocolate. There's just something about it that I think I just think because he's a versatile guy. We've seen him in Creed play like a hero fighting upwards, but then we've also seen him play Killmonger. Maybe he's a Sith in there. I don't know, but I think he'd be perfect. My prediction, I don't know. Everyone throws out the Brie Larson thing, but I thought about that at first, but then I thought she's going to do Captain Marvel 2, and then she's probably going to be in Avengers, and then she's probably going to want to do films that aren't like huge blockbusters, right? So that was the obvious because she's a big fan, and she might even have a role, but I don't know if that's the actor or actress they're talking about just because I just thought she might be too busy. I don't think they're going to have anybody, and that's why I went with Michael B. Jordan for the want because he's dead, right? He's not going to have a big role. I don't think you'll see anyone like Chris Pratt or Robert Downey, someone that was already big in Marvel, because then I think then you get too many people that if they don't like the MCU, it's just too much MCU Star Wars, right? You got Feige producing it, and let's say it's Robert Downey Jr. playing a Jedi. You're like, this is just Marvel with a Star Wars coat. So that's why I honestly think my prediction, I don't have an actor. I think it'll be someone that played a minor role in the MCU or that was not in the MCU. Someone that, it won't be Michael Douglas, but something like that where he is a character, but not one of the main characters. I don't think it would be any main Avengers. Maybe you could throw Tom Holland in there, but I just think he's too synonymous with Spider-Man. I don't want any of the main people in there. That's why I went with even someone like Tom Hiddleston. It's bordering on that thing of I would want it, but he's so synonymous with Loki. It's kind of tough, right? So I would want, I think, something like Michael B. Jordan, where he's a big name, he's done big star roles, but yeah. Or Christian Bale. Just give me fucking Christian Bale in a Star Wars movie with Kevin Feige. Let's go. Make him the master, whoever the apprentice is. Christian Bale would be a great Jedi master. Wouldn't he? The old wise Ben Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn. Holy fuck.
Talking about versatile actors.
Oh, Kevin Feige. Give me that Christian Bale Star Wars movie. Bale also loves Star Wars. But that's my pitch. My prediction is it's someone that we're not, like someone that's not main MCU, and then my want is Michael B. Jordan. Don't say Nick Cage.
Oh, that would be perfect. He would be the wise master for sure.
No.
Man.
He would just like mocap a new Java like character or something like that.
I don't know. I get a kick. I wouldn't want it, but it would be funny to see Dave Bautista in there. You know, like give me what I want.
Lots of people have fan cast him as Darth Bane.
Darth Bane? That'd be interesting. I could be okay with seeing like Chris Evans in there, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're the different approach where even though he's Captain America, you'd put him right in the thing.
Well, no, because
are you just scrolling through like popular actors of 2019
Oh,
right
he
now?
is too, totally.
I said actresses.
Oh,
I think that Chris Evans could be good. I want to see like Knives Out because I want to see him in an opposite role where he's kind of like a douche, like an ass, and I want to see like some more versatile because like I like him as Human Torch, and I like him as Captain America. I think he's a great actor. He can make you feel, and I think it would be perfect to see that kind of represented in a Star Wars film. In what role? I don't know. I could see him as a Jedi, but I don't want more.
You don't want Captain America again, right?
Well, that's just it. It would be very similar. And that being said, I don't want
make him
like
the fucking Sith. That'd be so.
Make
fun.
him a Sith for sure, because like I don't want more of like what Fallen Order is doing in the sense where we're getting nothing. Not that I'm like being racist or anything like that, but I don't want like just a standard like male. White Jedi Knight or whatever.
Anytime you start with, I don't want to be racist. It's borderline
No,
racist.
I want.
You hear that, white males? He's taking away our privilege.
Wow.
That we're not going to be in the 11th Star Wars movie as the lead. Oh my god. Oh no.
I'm gonna tweet at you after this.
Hashtag boycott Feige Star Wars. It's gonna work out just like Captain Marvel, right, guys?
I want I want it to be
different.
versatile. Yeah, different.
Make it a fucking alien main
Make
character.
it an alien, please. Like that's what like
Make
I'm
it a
excited
sexy
about.
Twi'lek. Oh yeah.
And that's like what the
baby.
Mandalorian's going for.
I've
We're
seen
gonna
some
get the
videos.
Mandalorian in there. We're gonna get the Twi'lek in there too. Like we're gonna get some like awesome different kind of like things, and I want that in like more Star Wars like content. I don't want just the same generic like okay like here's. Like even the prequels, it was awesome to see all those different Jedi. It was fantastic.
Boy, Plo Koon.
Like I would love to see more of that kind of versatility and such. So that I would like Chris Evans in there, but I'm thinking okay, like maybe not be a Jedi, maybe like I could see him playing like a smuggler or something like that. A droid, yeah.
It's just
his
Jack,
voice.
C-3PO. Oh, just a boy. Yeah, just like huge. Hello, Master.
Yeah, just like talking about. I'll tell you my predictions
Go
after,
for
but
it.
like just thinking about like shit ton of Star Wars or Jedi, shit ton of like Sith warriors. Right now, I'm actually reading through Darth Bane, and like that's kind of like the prime, like just like it's a full on scale war, right, between the Sith and the Jedi. Like it's just such. Oh, I want that stuff. I want the Old Republic battles. I just want something new from what we've seen, and Kevin Feige, take me there. But anyways, going to my predictions. Originally, I kind of had Tom Holland like bounce around in my mind. I know Star Wars really likes like British actors, just to have like that kind of accent. It's funny how like Star Wars kind of just has that English accent that they give their characters.
They shoot a lot in London and whatnot.
Oh, is that okay?
I don't know if that's the
that.
origin, but they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking about him, especially. I don't know who knows where Spider-Man's gonna go now with Sony and stuff.
To the fucking Madam Web movie, apparently.
He signed.
Morbius.
He signed for a few movies, right?
Oh yeah. He's in Sony World.
Up to 3, like a trilogy.
Yeah, I think he at least has one more.
Okay.
So
yeah, so I was kind of thinking about that, but when you were saying like just to have like a returning like big Avengers or like MCU type actor for that role, but again, he's really young, it is tough though because he might have that effect that people might just be seeing Spider-Man.
They might, yeah.
Especially like he just had $1 billion movie. Like obviously a lot of people have seen him in that role, so it might be weird. But also I can't really picture him as a Jedi for some reason. I don't know. It's just
I can a little bit like the young Padawan in a way, unexperienced. But then I just think that's too close.
A little like Braid or something.
Way too close.
That's too close to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So like unless it's Christian Bale.
He's just full evil. Oh.
That's what
That'd be
you have
wild.
to do if you bring an MC people. You gotta change them up big time.
Yeah, so that was like the only kind of male lead I was thinking about.
Was that your want or your prediction?
That was
Or
my
did you not-
prediction,
okay.
I think, because originally it was like borderline want, but now that I've seen my list, I feel like I'm gonna throw Sophie Turner in there.
Okay. I almost forgot her name.
What's her name? Sansa from Game of Thrones. Recently in that movie that came out.
Dark
Dark
Phoenix.
Phoenix. All forgetting about. So that movie was pretty terrible, but honestly, I really liked her in it. I thought she was great, like acting wise. There's a few like emotional scenes in there that I really like was feeling sucked in when she was performing. That was a really weird way to say that, but I just thought like she was definitely the highlight of that movie, and she's available. You know, I don't know like long
She's
term.
available.
Like, I don't know like long term like or like TV shows that she has lined up or like a big movie set. So acting wise, I feel like she's a strong actress.
Yeah.
She's pretty young, so they could build around her if they want to go that route. And I think she's British as well, so to throw that in there. Just the theme. So I think I'm gonna throw that in there as my prediction. My want, again, this is a weird want because I kind of going back and forth. Haley Steinfeld.
Oh, okay.
I really like her as an actress, but it's kind of hard for me to picture her. Almost like a Tom Holland thing. It's hard for me to picture her in a Star Wars.
Plus, she's gonna be in the MCU soon too. That's Kate Bishop,
yeah.
right?
Forgot about that.
So it's that pool again.
Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna have one then.
That's fine.
Sophie Turner. Yeah, that's my prediction /
Can you see Nick Cage in the Star Wars universe?
Nope.
Like maybe as an alien, you know how like Maz or something.
Yeah. You see, but if you just see Nick Cage appear, it'll take you right out of the movie. And I'll lose all faith in Kevin Feige.
Or they make him an alien, but like keep his face, so he's just like this tall or something, but he's just like Nick Cage's
like
head.
that little alien in Men in Black, but it's just Nick Cage.
Yeah, totally.
No alien features. It's just like, hey, I'm here to teach you the Force. I'm Dota. Everything else in Star Wars, we talked about that for a clean hour. Star Wars, so
it was big news.
It was.
So
It's huge.
It was precedent.
That's game changing. That is because now when episode 9 comes out, when Black Widow happens, they're gonna get asked all the time, and it's gonna happen. And I think they just announced it because I don't think some people said because that George Lucas news. I think most people knew he didn't like Force Awakens. I just think they're just trying to build up as much hype as possible for episode 9. So it's just like, fuck yeah, Obi-Wan's coming. Fuck yeah, Kevin Feige's coming. If Mandalorian's great. Fuck yeah, I love the Mandalorian. Episode 9. I just think they're just trying just butter you up. You know, it's like a popcorn. You just put as much butter on there. You don't want to put too much, but you get enough in there. Video game, don't screw it up for everybody. But I think that's what they're doing. They're buttering us up. So even if episode 9 is like a disappointing movie, we're like, yeah, but we got so much other great stars on the way, right? Where Last Jedi, I think most people are like, yeah, I don't need to see Solo. And then after that, there was nothing else announced, right? So I think this is just like, we are moving towards a new era. We hope you're excited for it. So, and I am. I can't wait to see all this. So
I can't wait to just see what happens like after episode 9. Like, because Last Jedi, it was such like a divisive movie, and I don't know, like, is this going to be similar, or are people just going to be fanboying over JJ that he's back? Or
I think it'll be similar reaction to Force Awakens, but a little less hype. I've me and Ted have talked on Cantina. I feel like JJ Abrams is gonna, for hardcore Star Wars fans, either make like a super kick-ass movie or something really, but I can't say really disappointing. I just don't know, like stuff like Dark Ray, if that's just a vision. I feel like that's disappointing. So I feel like he might. I love JJ, and I think he's still gonna make a good movie, but I think he might. I don't know if he does the safe thing.
Route?
I think he might, but not. He'll do a safe route, but not the like a retread. But who knows? Emperor's back, and
I keep seeing these like, and I don't buy into it because no one's gonna say anything. But these articles like of Daisy Ridley coming out and saying that episode 9 is like the finale to Game of Thrones, and I'm like,
she said it's better.
She said it's better because I read an article. She was saying like it's as bad as that, and I'm like, this is just like who would say all this stuff?
No.
She's saying
so
that in
phony.
a positive way.
She didn't.
No,
you got this all wrong. She just said something like they're gonna satisfy. Some interviewer was like, "Oh, Game of Thrones ending. How could you compare Skywalker?" And she just said it's gonna satisfy the fans. And then I think people around the headline like Game of Thrones.
Well, they spin it.
Yeah.
They spin it for those clicks, you know.
Yeah, well, they're getting you. You're just like, I don't know why Daisy Ridley would say episode 9 was bad.
No, I don't know why. I don't know why they spin those things like that way. Because like I hate
clicks.
It does get clicks, but I hate reading stuff like that because it's like the media just needs to calm down.
The reason Taylor doesn't like reading that thing is because Taylor is notorious just reading the headline. He'll never read the
I'm
article.
a headline kind of
It's
guy.
so true.
Yeah. So if they announce like Kevin Feige's doing a Scrum movie, he would like, oh, that's the case, but he'd never even click on the.
That's the case.
I love newspapers because I'm all headlines.
The big font.
There's stories in the newspaper.
I know,
still
but
a thing?
usually only the good stuff is in the headlines. You know, it's like
That's such a terrible way. Thank God you
Oh,
don't vote
man.
in America. You'd be voting the wrong way in 2020
it's a
coming
great
up.
way to live.
Yeah. Impeachment is great. Oh, that must mean good things, right? Are we done Star
I
Wars?
feel like I'm in a Cantina conversation right now. This is pretty
Welcome to
fun.
Kinda
Cantina
like
Conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
You know, Dylan tried to join us. Unfortunately, we couldn't hook it up because Dylan's really hating on Mac right now. We tried to Skype him in, but I think Dylan and Jessica maybe would have still been a little salty as we're hour 7 and we've just talked about Star Wars right now. But we had to, man. We had to.
Fanboys.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about what Dylan Musk also loves is Batman, because we've cracked the case. Me and Taylor did it a few days ago, and Dylan's like, oh, he hates Batman. Remember? So Dylan was like, oh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. I don't care for him. And he's like, yeah, I think I gave like Batman Begins like a 6 or 7. And I'm like, oh, no, this podcast says you gave it an 8.5. He's like, oh, I don't know. And then I'm like, oh, Lego Batman, you gave that a 10 out of 10. And then he's like, oh, I don't know about Dark Knight. I'm like, oh, you said that was a great movie. You would definitely rewatch. So I think we've figured out that he's just like a closeted fan. I think he's doing it just to bug me. So you've heard it here first. Dylan Musk is a closeted, huge Batman
S-tier
fan.
scoop.
Oh, yeah. He's an S-tier fan. And he probably has a tattoo on his ass we haven't seen. So Dylan Musk, big Star Wars fan, big Batman fan. Make sure you tune in. But you know who might be a big Batman fan? Is Jonah Hill, because let's start off. That was the transition, but we're not going to start with Jonah. We're going to start with Jeffrey Wright, who got cast as Commissioner Gordon. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen him and stuff. He's in Hunger Games. He plays Felix in the new James Bond movies. He's been a character actor for years. So what do you guys think about that? I guess the two first. One, what do you think about him playing Gordon? And two, if people didn't believe it already, this is the official confirmation. This is not a prequel to Ben Affleck's Batman, as Commissioner Gordon in that world is a white man. So unless something really strange happened, maybe Gordon found some chemicals, but this is like officially not a prequel to Ben Affleck's Batman. But what do you think about those two? Then we'll get to Mr. Hill.
Yeah, I was really excited actually just seeing that casting. I'm trying to think, because I know I've seen him in Hunger Games, but I feel like there's another movie. Because what did you just
James
say?
Bond. He plays Felix in like Casino Royale and Quantum Solace. He's did you ever watch Westworld?
No,
he was in that. But he's a guy that just pops up in like a lot of stuff all the time.
So I've definitely seen him here and there, and I've never saw him. There's no like disrespect or anything. I never saw him as like a big lead actor or anything, but like he's just so good as like, I don't know, like a not necessarily
supporting player.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like he does his roles very well, and just picturing him as Gordon, it's one of those things that I didn't think I needed it, but man, like it totally makes sense, because I'm trying to think of the Gordon from like the Nolan trilogy.
Gary Oldman?
Yeah, like I when I saw that, I was like, man, that guy's like perfect casting. That guy is just...
Did you say from the Nolan trilogy?
Did I just say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought I misheard it.
What do you think I said?
Wow.
I'm curious now.
You're on a roll today. Calling out Kirkland.
Yeah.
You don't want a white guy in Star Wars. You piece of shit. You're being racist towards me, man. You're oppressing
the
me.
F-tier scooper over here.
Yeah.
Taylor Field.
I feel attacked. I'm a white man.
Is that a headline?
Oh, it is. Yeah, Taylor Field doesn't want white men in Star Wars ever again. I'm going to run that on GeekVerse. That'll be the title of this episode. And then hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
No, but yeah, just it's one of those things that I didn't think I needed it, and I'm really excited actually. I feel like he'll be, because this is obviously Robert Pattinson's movie, right? Yeah. So I feel like it'll be a cool dynamic between those two. It's still kind of weird for me to picture Robert Pattinson as Batman. It's not like I'm one of those people that is so like against it or anything. It's just I need to like see him in the suit or something.
You need a trailer. That first photo. Yeah.
For sure. I still picture him pretty pale from Twilight. No, I'm kidding. I'm not one of those guys.
He'll still be pale now. He'll be out at night. He's not getting much sun, right? You know?
That is right. He's just got like the exact same makeup on.
Same hair and everything.
Yeah.
He sparkles when it's sunlight. You're like, what the fuck's going on in this movie? Why is he? And then they're just like, he's just playing Edward Cullen now. I was like, what the hell's going on?
So, I almost called him Felix. What's the actor's name?
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright. I'm really excited for that.
Taylor, do you think it was the right choice, or probably because you didn't want no white men in Star Wars, so you're probably in Batman now, right?
I honestly I can't remember like what movies I've seen with this actor. So
have you seen him, or do you not even know if you've seen him?
I don't even know if I've seen him because I haven't watched like a lot of the James Bond movies. Like I've watched like Octopussy and Skyfall. That's about it.
And he didn't watch Octopussy because he thought it was a James Bond movie. He thought it was something else.
Oh yeah. But it's I'm down for it. Like so this is a prequel to Ben Affleck's Batman, or like you have to explain this to me again because I fully don't understand this.
How do you not? How could it be how can it be your prequel? It's not. That was because so many people, when Pattinson got cast, was like, oh, it's still going to be a prequel to Ben Affleck's Batman. It's a younger Batman. But if Jim Gordon in that universe of Ben Affleck is white, and now Jim Gordon and Robert Pattinson
DC is all over the board, so I don't know at this point.
No, it's not a prequel. Like maybe they got to come and say, but it's not a prequel. It's going to be its own off thing. I don't know if that means they're going to retcon it or Flashpoint into DCU, or if it's going to be like Joker and be just its own trilogy by itself. Okay. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be Nolan style by itself, just Batman world. That's it.
Okay, because I didn't fully understand all that. I never saw any headlines of them saying like this is a prequel, this is a non-prequel to Ben Affleck's Batman.
George Lucas is producing the Batman. That's why it's a prequel.
Oh, good. I love that idea.
Alman Best is playing the Joker.
Oh boy.
Means I think you're gonna die, Batman.
No, I'm excited to see him in this performance. I got nothing to go off.
Yeah,
of,
you're
so.
excited because you've never seen him in a movie before.
Yeah,
You haven't seen or what's the second Hunger Games called?
Catching Fire.
Something. You haven't seen that?
I've seen the Hunger Games, and I've seen what is it? Is it a Mockingbird or? Yeah, Catching Fire. That is the second one. He's in there.
He's like the smart guy that makes traps.
He's not gonna remember.
The smart guy that makes traps. Weren't they all like kids though?
No, he's a
dude. He's
a full-on dude.
Full-grown
dude.
So while Taylor thinks about that,
I need a picture here. What's his gentleman's name
It's
here?
on Facebook. It's on our Facebook. Do you not watch our own Facebook?
He
For
doesn't
our
follow us
thousands
on
of fans?
Facebook.
Yeah, I don't follow.
You didn't for years,
Yeah, you didn't for the longest time.
Don't say years. That's big fake news.
decades,
That's a
a
headline.
millennia. This is just he'll get back to us. Yeah, it's great casting. Right when I saw it, same thing as Kirk was like that fits. That's perfect. It makes sense, and it also makes sense because we had heard rumors going around that they're looking at, because the first rumor was after this story broke, it was a few weeks ago that came out again, that Mahershala Ali was the first choice, but then Blade came around and then he turned it down. And it makes sense when we heard those rumors about Jamie Foxx and Giancarlo Esposito both being black actors. I'm happy. That's the thing. Jeffrey Wright is not my first choice because I like other actors there, but he's not my last. Jamie Foxx is definitely my last choice on that.
Like Mahershala Ali. I think I just butchered his name. I apologize.
Mahershala Ali?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you prefer him over?
Right?
Yeah.
If, let's say, Blade wasn't a thing, yes.
Really?
Yeah, I like
Wow.
Jeffrey Wright, but same thing as Giancarlo Esposito, who plays Gus. I think Jeffrey Wright is a great, good, solid choice. I just don't think he is like in my top 15 of actors, but he's
Okay.
not someone where I go where he got cast and like, I'm worried he's not gonna pull off. Right when I see him, like, oh, that's just a really good choice. Someone like Jamie Foxx, I went, I don't like him as Gordon. This isn't working for
Did
me.
you see Django or something?
And, well, no, watch Robin Hood, and you'll know why he shouldn't play like an Alfred Gordon like character.
Should I watch Robin Hood?
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
You totally should.
It's a Dark Knight ripoff, legitimately. It's crazy. They do the exact same plot points. There's a Two-Face plot point. It's nuts.
That's funny.
And then that's why, because I've seen some people with all these rumors, and some people like, oh, was he just looking for a black actor? One, if he was, I don't think he was looking for that just for like a diversity's sake. I think what he might be looking for, because if that was with the rumors and all those 4 actors and maybe other people of color were circling around Gordon, I think he's going to do a take where if you look at, let's be honest, cops and black African-American people don't have a great history. They've had many, even you could probably look at something 2 weeks ago and they've had some terrible situation where a cop has treated a black person terribly. And that's not every cop. I'm not getting that debate, but it is a known issue in America specifically, right? So think about Gordon. If he is a black man and he is in this world where Gotham is a real city, Gotham is the most crime-ridden, worst place in America, and you're going to have a black man who is the commissioner of all that. That's where I think they might be playing it up if he was specifically looking for a black actor for Gordon. And I think that's something new and something fresh of you got cops and black people who have had for many years lots of very tenuous, intense relationships, not trusting relationships, and now you have a guy who's a commissioner, the lead of all that. That could be something really unique and something really different, especially like I said in Gotham, where like you're dealing with
There's so much corruption.
you're dealing with
stuff,
human
too.
crocodiles. You're dealing with the Joker. You're dealing with the fucking guy who just read boxes of Riddler. So that's what I think. When I saw that, just like, oh, he was looking for diversity. No, I think he wants to take this approach of let's change up Gordon. Let's do something different, because nothing about Gordon. He doesn't have to be white. The only thing would have to be white is if that's where the character is specifically written, where he has to be white because of this, and this. You know, like let's say they wrote a character that was a villain and he was a slave owner. Then you couldn't right away, like you couldn't retcon and make him black. That's why with Black Panther, he needs to be black because he's a part of an African culture. You know, where Bruce Wayne, he could be black one day because you know about Gotham, it's a fake city that doesn't exist. So nothing about Gordon says he has to be white.
Yeah.
So I'm all for the casting as far as the actor and the change of color, because it didn't matter when Nick Fury was cast as a black guy. Nothing changed. It's just the same character with a great actor in there. So it's just this debate comes up every time. You know?
Yeah, no, I totally like in the same boat where I think changing the dynamic for it, it'll be really interesting because they could play off those things that they couldn't have if they had just like another white actor playing Commissioner Gordon, because like you said, Gotham is just so crime ridden, and like what we saw,
it's the scummiest, shadiest place in the world.
And,
Like,
like-
if it's real, you're supposed to believe that. Everyone's crooked.
Yeah.
Everyone's corrupt. You know.
no, totally, and like even that we saw from like the Nolan trilogy, there's just so much like corruption in like the police force itself, and I feel like they might play on similar like corruption tones that the Commissioner Gordon's kind of battling, like obviously like out on the streets as well as in the department. So that
And
whole
plus a giant bat that we don't know if he's going to be friends with to start with, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be like, what's the deal with this guy? That's what I ask you guys. Do you think, where would he start? Is he going to be commissioner right away? Is it going to be like Nolan, where he was like just a detective and then he became lieutenant? Like, where do you think in his career? Because we've heard about this Batman where it's not his origin, but it's like it sounds like he's maybe been Batman for like 2 to 3 years. So it's not the first year, but he's still newer to it. So where do you think Gordon would be? Because in my ideas, I think we start the movie and it's like Gordon's first day as commissioner. Like, that's the beginning of the movie, and it's like that back and forth with him and Batman, maybe.
I feel like it'll be similar, where similar to what you're saying. How
Yeah,
it'll
we had
be
that
early.
idea, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we brainstormed this before
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cast. No, no, I totally agree with you. I feel like it'll be really early into his commissioner career, and oh man, I just shot a big blank. I don't know. I don't know what just happened
Don't want
there.
to be shooting blind.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that was rough. I had a total outline of what I was going to
Well,
say.
well,
but-
you think, Taylor, where do you think his Gordon career will be as like commissioner? Where is he?
I like the idea. You got it.
yeah, but
Go,
I was
go,
gonna,
go.
Thank you.
Yeah, go. You'll forget it again. Yeah, yeah.
I was just gonna.
So we're gonna move on to the next topic. Jonah Hill.
I was gonna pose you this
Yeah.
question. Do you think that since Batman's been around for 2, maybe 3 years, in Commissioner Gordon, do you think like they've been working together this whole time, or do you think in the movie they'll reveal like technically because Batman's a vigilante, Commissioner Gordon will be trying to capture him, and then because we know they're gonna be like talking or
They're always
discussing.
buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, because in every movie, not counting Justice League, because J.K. Simmons was in Justice League for 30 seconds, and they set up that Batman and him know each other. In in the very first Tim Burton Batman, they didn't know each other. In the Nolan one, they had to meet up. So we've kind of got that every time. So it's tough because for something new, I'd like them to have established relationship already, but at the same time, do you kind of lose that bonding if it's just already there together? But I don't know. So I think my heart would say I'd want it to be that they've been already working together, but my head will say it's still relatively new and Batman's still like a myth, you know, like
Okay.
it's still they've seen a cape, they've seen quick images, but they don't have a photo of him. They don't know if he's even real, you know? So,
Yeah.
but I don't know, because that's kind of the same thing they did when Batman Begins. So maybe, maybe it will be established. Maybe they will have a relationship because, but then again, like I said, no, then you miss that bonding thing. You miss the first time he could trust him, right? So I don't know. It's tough which way you go, but if I predict money, I'll say that they have a relationship going into. Even if it's newer, they got a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be just. I think he'll already be in the force, and he'll be probably like not just like a detective, but he'll be like something like higher up, because like judging by his age, I feel like they'll probably make him like already like gone through like the years as like gone through detective and moved up in the ranks, so he'd probably be up like lieutenant or something like that.
So you don't think
maybe.
commissioner though? You don't think running? The
I don't
police
think he'll
station?
be commissioner yet, and I do think that since it's obviously like Robert Pattinson just starting out as Batman by like a couple years, I think it'll be, you know, him setting up that new relationship, and people don't know what he is or anything, because even in the Tim Burton Michael Keaton one, you get the sense like, okay, yes, they don't know each other, but then this is obviously this is Batman just kind of starting out like new, because like they just hear sightings and they don't know what he is. And then obviously in Batman Begins is when he is officially just starting out. And then it makes sense with Ben Affleck's, because he's very well aged and he's like been doing it for a long time, so it makes sense that he's already got that relationship. But I think it's a relationship that you want to see, you know, connect and grow, because it helps dive into more of the story with Bruce Wayne's character, I feel like, and how he's connecting to the people around him, because he's obviously an isolated guy.
Yeah,
So-
and like I feel like Commissioner Gordon, again, Travis knows a lot more about Batman than I do, but I feel like he's kind of the link from like for Batman to kind of like the rest of the world, kind of, or not necessarily like just the police, but just
to get a pass and stuff.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Like if Batman needs a file, Gordon's gonna give it to him and stuff
exactly.
like that. Or it's like, should we look into Batman? No, he's a good guy. So that's my only worry. Like I said, what you bring up, Taylor, is just because they've done that twice now. Him being the new one, would they do that again? Right?
Well, I don't think people remember how things went down the Tim Burton one,
Probably
and
not.
I think it's been
Well,
a
yeah,
long enough time
yeah.
that people are like they'd be okay with it in you know, if they do a similar thing as they did with the Nolan trilogy, like
'cause
with Bruce Wayne. And
the movie's coming out in 2021. that would be God, that would be 17 years after Batman Begins.
Yeah, I think that's a
Hot
long
damn.
enough time.
Yeah.
So I think that
true.
Yeah, I think that people are still thinking about like Ben Affleck and how he just like he already knew Gordon. So
Yeah.
I think it's long enough. 17 years. When the first Batman Begins came out?
2005.
2005. I was in grade 5 when that came out. Holy shit.
I was in grade 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No, you weren't. That's an F scoop right there.
So let's move to the very interesting one. Were you not done?
I was just I
Wow.
forgot to mention this earlier. I don't think I answered your question on because you asked two questions. One, whether I like the diversity,
Casting.
like the Cassidy,
Yeah.
the Cassidy. I don't know where that name came from,
Shooting
But-
blanks.
but like the diversity change or just like the actor in general. I feel like whether they weren't going the route of like changing his ethnic background, I would have been totally down for that actor.
I agree.
as that role.
I agree 100%. The only reason I threw it was just because there was those other rumors and all of them were
Okay.
all black actors. So that's
Yeah.
why I thought maybe he was looking for that. But if honestly it was they auditioned 25 actors and like half of them were white, half of them were black, and he got it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they need to play up the racing. I just think that would be an interesting thread to pull
Mhm.
on because you got to make Gordon somewhat different. And then because like Taylor said, there is like a long time pass, but you don't want to make it the exact same as far as
They
like
can't just rehash.
yeah, like he's meeting Batman. He doesn't trust him. Then he trusts him. Even then, take the approach of maybe in the first movie, Gordon's still like, fuck Batman. Like, I don't trust that
Yeah.
guy at all. He dresses up as a bat. Are you kidding me? Like, this guy's a fucking psychopath. So
Totally.
that's what I mean. Like, I just want something different because that's what we're at that point now. Look at Joker. We're at the point we've had. God, 5 different, like who we've had: Adam West, Keaton, Christian Bale, George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Ben Affleck, and you can even count Kevin Conroy for the voice, among others. So we're on our like 8th major Batman. Now let's start getting weird and let's
Yeah.
start changing stuff up, you know? And I'm not saying we need to like go Jared Leto Joker stuff, but let's like just change some sort of things. And, you know, people. And this is the thing, people might say they're going to call me out because I'm not a fan of the BVS thing, but that's where I just think the storytelling wasn't done. I'm down for, you know what, you want to do this violent Batman. It's not my take, but fine, let's do it. Let's make it. And my other problem was always that it was a main continuity. I'd like that as an Elseworld, but still, fine if you're going to do that. You just got to write it good. And to me in BVS, it wasn't written good. So that's where I want stuff that's different, but I don't want it just for the sake of being different, but I want something different that's well written,
Yeah.
you know? So when I say that, I'll just give some context because I can see someone call me out, you know?
For sure.
Oh, you don't know the Young Avengers.
They'll always take you out of
Miss
context.
Marvel wasn't on the team. Go away. I'm reporting a rumor. I didn't create this. I'm not. We got this covered F tier. I just report the news. I don't break it. So here's the interesting thing. So we had a good conversation on that. Jonah Hill is a name that maybe I was expecting to pop up because if you listen to our Batman fan cast, I cast him as the Penguin. And so there's rumors that it came out classic Hollywood and breaking that he was up for a secret role. And then someone, well, he's playing the villain. And then someone, it might be the Penguin. Someone went, no, it's probably the Riddler. And then there's reports like Warner Brothers doesn't even know which route they're going. So I'm going to ask you, what do you guys think about Jonah Hill playing a villain? And what would you rather have, Penguin or Riddler?
Penguin, I would have to go with. It's weird saying it, but I feel like he's kind of got the Penguin look.
He has slimmed down quite a bit, but he still has, I agree with you, a face.
Well, he's also gone through like stages of like what was that one? Is it War Dogs where you like actually totally like thickened up
Yeah.
for that role? Like he can totally not too
Get
extreme.
thick.
Yeah. I was gonna say like not quite extreme route like what Christian Bale does to his body, but like he's shown that he can, you know, like I feel like some people would just refuse to be like, no, I'm not fucking putting my body through that torture. But
Well, and even then, like I'm cutting off a little bit, but for me with Jonah Hill, and I'm showing my cards too, and I'll talk more about it in a second. I want Penguin as well, but it's
Yeah.
not because I've seen so many people like, oh, just because he's an overweight guy. I don't think he
No,
doesn't even have
no,
to
no,
put
no,
on
no,
weight.
yeah.
If he's like, I'm gonna be a skinny Penguin, fine, then just be a skinny Penguin. I just think his aura and his presence would fit, especially something like War Dogs. It just fits Penguin so
Yeah.
well, where I feel like when I look at the two choices, I go, and that's why I picked him in fan cast. He would make a perfect Penguin, where I think he could make a really good Riddler, but I think there's other actors who could make great Riddlers where I think he's the perfect Penguin.
Yeah.
So why not put him in that P role instead of the Riddler? And even then, Riddler, that's an interesting choice too. If he's the Riddler, we're going to get a Riddler we've never seen before, or even a comic villain, because that's something very different as
Yeah.
Jonah Hill Riddler. So those are kind of my thoughts.
no, for sure. I probably shouldn't have started off with just like his physical attributes because that was probably pretty shallow of me. Shallow Hal over here. But yeah, like just his
What a
level,
callback.
his level of like for me, looking at a villain role for Jonah Hill, I picture like a sort of like weirdness to him, and I feel like the weirdness, in a good way, of course, would align more with the Penguin route for me. And I'm not saying that he couldn't do the Riddler, but for me, it's just easier to see him as the Penguin. As a Penguin. Jeez, I'm just making myself laugh over here.
See him as a penguin. That's so good. I love that.
Thank
March
you,
of
Taylor.
the Penguins 2, starring Jonah Hill.
Yeah, so
I'm here.
I feel like just for whatever reason, just his, you throw in the look in there, you throw in just his weird like humor that you've seen from like something like War Dogs, where he's just kind of like on the edge of being like a fucking psychopath, but like not quite, but I don't know.
Cannon.
A loose
Could
cannon.
be,
That's
but
a
then
better
he's
term.
also like quiet when he needs to be,
Yeah.
and he's deceiving. So, which to me is Penguin.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like he'd just be a really like not necessarily fun, but just a really interesting cobblepot from like things that we've seen in the past.
And
Definitely different from Danny DeVito.
I'll ask you this because I feel maybe our third counterpart might feel this way. Are you opposed to? Are you bummed if he gets cast as the Riddler?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like he's such a talented actor, and I remember like when I first, I don't know what movie, it's probably like Superbad or something. That's just, I don't know. I feel like that might have been the first thing I saw him in, and I just always saw him as like a really like comedic actor and like kind of playing like that character of just kind of goofy or whatever. But I forget what movie it was.
You got Moneyball out there. Wolf of
Yeah,
Wall
I think it was
Street.
Moneyball
Yeah.
actually, where it just totally changed my the gear on that, my view of what that actor is. Like he's just so talented, and he's able to do the super slimy like character like Wolf of Wall Street, as well as like a serious type role in Moneyball. And
the other role I'd shout out to watch if he's playing Riddler and he does the more creepy aspect is go watch Maniac on Netflix.
I've yet
with
to
Emma
see
Stone.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is when, if I hadn't seen that, I'd still think, oh, he could make a good Riddler. After Maniac, I went, he could make a great Riddler.
Okay,
and that's
yeah.
why I think people that doubt him, he's nominated for awards, Oscars, and it could go wrong. I've been on that camp before where I went, Ledger's going to be not a good Joker, and he's the greatest performance all time. But then I've also done, Heisenberg's not a good choice. And guess what? He was not a good choice for Lex Luthor. So I'm just at the point now where I sit back and I go, whatever Matt Reeves, who I believe is a talented director, he believes whether it's Penguin or Riddler, Jonah Hill's perfect for this part, I'm going to trust him until I see it. Once we see it, I go, that didn't work out. Same thing as Nicholas Hoult. I didn't want him as Batman, but if he got cast, I went, well, there's some reason why the director believes he's the right choice. And if it's someone like Matt Reeves, who I like those 8 films a lot, let me in, he's a very talented director. If it was someone, like Zack Snyder, who does do good casting, but when he did, I go, I don't know. And that's where Lex Luthor proved that off. But then he did Affleck, he did Cavill, he did Wonder Woman, so
Right.
You never know. So that's why I think for me, there's backup, almost not as much as the Feige thing like we were talking about earlier, but there's a resume to show that no matter what he is in this movie, he'd be good at that role, unless he's Catwoman, which would be a strange.
I got 2 questions for you. The first one, is it like set in stone that he's either Riddler or Penguin?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
he's anything else because those are the rumors, and I don't know if it's him deciding. I don't know if it's Warner Brothers. I don't know if it's because in my mind, the movie they keep saying it's like a detective tale. I feel like Riddler is the meteor role. Then, if it's a detective tale with riddles, so I feel like Penguin could be like a villain B character, like a mobster or something like that. So that's why maybe him as an actor, they might be like, we'd really like you for Penguin, but he's like, yeah, but I'd kind of like that like meteor Riddler role.
Right.
I don't, and this is me speculating. That's none of the rumors. They just said they haven't decided. So I don't know. If I had to guess, I still think I'm gonna go Penguin, just because I just think it fits, and there's just something. If I have a gun to my head, same thing. I think they'll go with Penguin, but those so far have been the only rumored choices right now.
Okay. Going to my second question. Is this going to be like the big villain or the only villain or side villain? Or?
I think they're all, other than maybe Riddler, who could be the main villain. I think they're all going to be kind of side-ish villains, almost like more screen time. But you think about the Black Order in Infinity War, definitely more screen time. But there's rumors of him, Riddler, Catwoman, Firefly. We've even heard like Mad Hatter thrown out there.
Oh, okay.
So because they've said it might be like Long Halloween, so I think there'll be a bunch of villains in there, but they're all variation from the amount of screen time they're in. But I could see Penguin being the main mobster who deals with crimes. Maybe he's running city in this Batman, right? So that maybe he's one of the first guys Batman really has to take down. Or he's been working. Maybe for his first 2 years, he's been slowly chipping away at Cobblepot's like industries, and this is the movie where he takes him down. But maybe Cobblepot needs some help, and he goes to Riddler and like, hey, I get this Bat guy off me and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's the thing. You could go many routes, because that's the thing. I know lots of people might be tired of Batman, but Batman is exactly like Star Wars. When we talk about the Old Republic, there is so many storylines, characters, and story arcs that have not been touched upon in the movies yet, and it's ridiculous. The character's been around for 80 years. There's so much to touch. So that's why, like, for me, I know you're going to talk about it, Taylor. Jim Carrey's Riddler is awful. It's fun. I like it, but when you think of it as the Riddler, it is not the Riddler whatsoever. And that's what people think the Riddler is. He's not. He is a cold, calculating, like a Jigsaw type. Like, he can be a little goofy, but he's not running around saying joygasm, and he's not playing baseball in the Batcave. That's not him.
To be fair, I kind of just like had that as my Riddler before I hit like the Arkham games.
Yeah, you gotta play those. Those are a lot closer to the animated series. Yeah, he's still fun and like flamboyant sometimes, and he makes puns, but he's not to the. Jim Carrey just took it to the nth degree. So, Taylor, what do you feel about this Jonah Hill casting?
I think he would be.
The other thing I'll show that they're in talks, so there's a chance he could end up not playing either. Like they could fall through, but let's say it does happen.
I would like to see him as Penguin, obviously, and I just feel like I could see him playing that kind of mob role, like that crime boss leader. I think he just would fit that. He could have like his little lunchbox where he's got tons of like photos he's drawn of like icebergs and penguins.
This
and
guy.
I was wondering where you're going. I'm like lunchbox. What version of Penguin would he have seen that had a lunchbox?
I only know this because we were talking about it on the Watchmen.
Patreon.com. GeekVerse.
But I think he would fit that role. I feel like the crime boss kind of thing. Like I played like the Arkham games, so I definitely see like I understand like that version of Riddler you guys are talking about, and I can't really imagine Jonah Hill in that kind of a serious, dark kind of role. I mean, I have to obviously see, like you recommended, like Maniac, so I'd have to see like some roles where he's kind of like portraying that kind of vibe. But like, I don't know. I see people like the fan cast that people go to is like David Tennant or something like that, and I'm like, I could see that. I'd be okay with something like that.
That is like the Feige stories. That's very like stunt casting. Like very, get a slender guy who looks a little nerdy, and that's like that's why I want McAvoy, because he'd be a hot Riddler, like
a hot Riddler.
That was my fan cast. So I was very mad. Someone made a fake article that says like McAvoy is the Riddler. Then when you clicked on the link, it just took you to Jonah Hill as the Riddler link. I was like, what type of troll is this? You just pissed me off. You got me.
That's like a modern day Rick Roll or something.
Yeah.
You click on something expecting it to be something
else.
Was
the same day this all was happening. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening. My two fan I win that fan cast. If Jonah Hill's the Penguin and McAvoy's the Riddler, I fucking win that fan cast. I don't care what fans voted, but no, it was a Rick rolled. And Jonah Hill as Riddler. Oh yeah, you were talking about that. But at first you seemed pretty opposed to it in the chat. You're like, no, I don't want it.
I
no white guys.
Get that on my face. No white guys.
I'm definitely no white guys. Yeah, I have to just.
There's a porn category.
A what?
That.
A porn category?
Yeah.
No white guys.
No white guys. Yeah.
Interesting.
You got him speechless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got him.
I have been thinking this Halloween I'd love to dress up as the Riddler, but it's definitely I'm doing.
I thought you were tying that into the porn thing.
Yeah. Why don't you just
white guys?
You should obviously wait till 2021 when the movie comes out, and it's very popular then.
Yeah, I alternate. Like this year, I get to pick. The next year, my significant other picks. The next year is 20. So
yeah,
20. Oh, I get to pick.
There you go. Save it.
I'll save it. I'll save it.
It's Jonah Hill, and he's like a huge fat Riddler, and you're like, oh, I got.
I'll beef up.
Yeah.
Or I'll bulk up.
Okay.
I'll look like a penguin as
Anything else on that casting?
No,
it's exciting. I'm waiting. I'm very salty that we did not get any in talks for Catwoman. That is the one I'm waiting. Baby Brett. That's my favorite female character of all time in comics. She's in my top 10 overall. I'm just very, very, and that one is very much like Joker and Batman. I'm on the Penguin and Riddler. If they cast someone I don't like, I'm like, okay, whatever, I can deal with it. Catwoman, I'll deal with it, but I really need someone good here, and it better be Ana de Armas. That's who I really want.
You wouldn't bring Halle Berry back?
Not at all.
She is. I think she's a little bit old for that.
Well, you never know.
Like you said earlier,
de-aging.
Well-aged.
Well-aged.
I love the term that you said.
You know what's not well-aged? That Ghost Rider show is going to be on Hulu because it didn't even start because it got... So let's break this down. Let's go back to the last week. What are you pulling out there?
You can say what you're going to say. I'm going to pull up that guy's comment that you know the one that he...
I don't.
I'm going to say it for you.
I guess I do, but I don't think it's that funny. So anyways, if you tune in our last news week, we were talking about Ghost Rider, and I said because of Hulu, he's not going to be on. I said Feige has no interest in this character whatsoever because if he's on Hulu, there's a reason for it. And I said you won't see Ghost Rider in the MCU till 2030, and then boom. Good thing. I know you can go back. I don't know if I threw a Travis told you on that, but
I don't think you did.
And Taylor throws at me and Dylan throws me shade. But I said that if he was on Hulu, now he's not on Hulu because of creative differences. And this happened the same time that there was a B plus C or a B C plus scooper that said Feige wants to use him. He has some plans for him. And then days later, this news broke. This is 100% obvious. It's not going to be Gabriel Luna's like Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, I don't think, but he is going to be used, and I think it's just a foregone conclusion. I don't know when we're going to get him in the MCU, but I think we will get him in a series or movie, and then he'll transition to other thing else. I don't think you're going to get a Ghost Rider movie because I just don't think that's box office.
You were talking about it earlier, kind of like a Hulk character, right?
Yeah.
Where he doesn't have a standalone.
That's what I think he would be, where he'll appear, and then even then if he gets the Disney Plus show, that's fine, but I think he'll appear in this Phase 4, and then Phase 5 will get a movie. Because if you look at Phase 4, they're only going to 2021, and they announced Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk, but they didn't announce any more movies or anything else, so I don't think they're announcing anything more. I think it's like 13 projects in Phase 4, so I think he would appear in something. What? I don't know. Maybe Moon Knight, maybe Doctor Strange. And we talked about this in the group chat. We're going to do a fan cast, but I think Midnight Suns is going to happen. That's a team of like really supernatural dark Marvel heroes. So you got like Blade, Punisher, you got Werewolf by Midnight, you got 2 Ghost Riders in there, you got Doctor Strange.
2 Ghost Riders.
Yeah, you got Moon Knight in there. So I think they'll change some characters, but I think we're going to go that route and they're going to use like darker Marvel characters. And then you're going to have Guardians, you're going to have Avengers, you're going to have X-Men, you're going to have Fantastic Four, and then you're going to have Midnight Suns. And I could see that's how they bring Moon Knight in the movie as well. It's like Moon Knight's not going to get his own movie, but for Midnight Suns, he's going to be on the team like the Hulk. So I think, so I was wrong on that. But again, I just thought I was under the pretext of, well, if he's getting a TV show that's not connected to the MCU, why would they be using him? But now, clearly, I think Feige just, in general, whether it's funny this happened the same week as this and Star Wars, just seems like after Endgame he has a lot more power. And maybe he went, yeah, you know that Ghost Rider show you guys are working on? Yeah, I don't want you to do that. I want to use them. And before they went, oh, we want something for Hulu. Now I think like, okay, sure, you use Ghost Rider. If he's going to make us $3 billion, we'll let you use Ghost Rider. So I think you would definitely see him in Phase 4, or at least setting up him. I don't know which one you see. I think you go with Johnny Blaze and I already threw out my fan cast, and someone might take it, and lots of other people said it at the same time I was saying it, but I think Keanu is just a perfect choice, because I think you got to get someone kooky and wacky. I think you can go older, and they've been saying, hey, we need someone for Ghost Rider, or we need someone for Keanu. We talk to him every MC movie. Him as Ghost Rider would be perfect. I don't know how he feels about the CG, but I've also seen Norman Reedus thrown out there. That's a fun one. But I think you got to go someone off the wall. So I'm excited for you. I'm not like, I like Ghost Rider. I don't have anything against him, but I'm excited for Taylor Field because I know that feeling of like when New Moon Knight got announced, I didn't think it was going to happen, and it did. So obviously it's not announced, but this is like the foundation to something's going to come next Comic-Con or in the next few years, or you're going to hear Doctor Strange talk about some fucking demon on a bike or something. Or
oh, man.
Maybe the multiverse, maybe that's what happens, is maybe that's how they unleash the demon.
That was my kind of call.
Yeah. So who knows, but it's gonna happen, and it's awesome and crazy.
It's funny because I just watched like Ghost Rider the other day, and
of course
I forgot like how good like that first Ghost Rider movie actually is. Like, it's actually like I've loved it even more and more every time I watch it, and I love the soundtrack and the score. It's so good. It's fantastic. And I have to watch Spirit of Vengeance here soon, but yeah, I love watching, like, I'm excited to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Disney Plus and see like Robbie Reeves like Ghost Rider scenes and stuff like that, because I watched a few of them.
Johnny
and, like,
Blaze is in the show too for
he's
like
in the
30
flashback
seconds.
the flashback sequence, and I always took it as like, okay, this is a way that they canonized like Nicolas Cage's Johnny Blaze into the MCU. That's just my own like fan connection.
Fanfare.
Because
until you see him in human form, you're just like, that's Nick Cage.
Yeah. But I'm so unbelievably stoked for this. Like when we were playing like Ultimate Alliance and like we got to like the other dimension or whatever, dark dimension, and like Ghost Rider just pops in and is like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I want to have this like in the MCU. I was so happy to have it in the game, but then I just felt like something was missing because I'm not getting it in the cinematic universe. And now that like it's happening, like I was gonna watch this show on Hulu, but it wasn't like anything like grand because I wanted them to have something in the MCU. And Travis shared the article like Marvel's Ghost Rider live action series not going forward at Hulu. This guy commented, didn't even know it was a thing, honestly.
I liked his comment. I thought that was
Yeah,
hilarious.
he's got likes on it.
Shouts out to that guy.
But I'm like a lot of people are upset, and obviously we talked about this yesterday. How it's like a lot of people are bummed out because they like Robbie Reeves as a character because he was
Reyes.
Robbie Reyes.
Yeah,
That's
Reyes.
it? Oh, I thought it was Reeves.
Espanol, right?
No, Reese, that's a chocolate. Yeah, he's Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why like he had like that backing because they like the character and they like the diversity, which is totally understandable. But then people shouldn't like lose like heart now, like because I'm a huge fan of like I love like the characters, the actors that portray him, but I'm a huge fan of the Ghost Rider himself as the anti-hero, and I want to see that represented on the screen. And whether it's if he gets a little bit of a pop-off moment in like one of these like upcoming series, I'll lose my mind because like I want it to be unexpected. Like if it's like if they drop that, the equivalent to Civil War, if they drop that trailer and we get like a little bit of a fight breaking out or something, of Doctor Strange or whatever, yeah, and you just hear like the motorbike revving up and you just see Ghost Rider just pop in, oh my god, I'm gonna scream in the theater, I'm gonna scream in my chair, I'm not gonna be able to contain myself.
I don't want to sit with you.
No, you won't want to sit
I
next
want
to
to sit
me.
with Taylor. I'm ready for that moment.
I
get hyped on hype.
It's just so unbelievably like satisfying because it's like you imagine me, I'm like this little boy walking down the street and I'm like nudging people's like jackets trying to get their attention.
And they're like, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah,
boy.
everyone's
Who's
like,
your parents?
What's Ghost Rider?
That's what everyone's saying. And then finally, like, I nudge on Travis's like jacket and he turns and says, Ghost Rider not fucking happening till like 2030. And I'm like, I start to cry. And then all of a sudden a hand reaches out onto my shoulder. And you know whose hand that is? It's fucking Feige's hand.
Feige fighter.
And he's like, you know what? Don't listen to that, man. I'm going to put Ghost Rider into the
I feel like this is a
MCU.
dream that you had or
Yeah.
something. It's very dream.
He just said fight for me and he extended his hand and then Taylor grabbed and he just got teleported. That's what Ghost Rider I hope they do. I hope they do Cosmic Ghost Rider if I have my pick. I love Johnny Blaze, but he's just like decked out. He has like space gear on him. There's one comic book recently where he's trying to save baby Thanos and stuff
it's
like
crazy.
that. It's some wild stuff. So,
Interesting.
but I think with when you're talking about the Dark Dimension, we have literally a movie coming out called Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. We're getting into some weird stuff. And even the WandaVision show, it's like she creates a parallel universe for Vision, it sounds like. So it's like they're starting to dip. And same thing, when they announced Blade, that means vampires in the MCU. They're going to slowly do it, but they're starting to get really weird and dark. And Phase 5 could start off with Blade and Ghost Rider, and that's a wild thing.
Man, I'm just I love playing Moon Knight, and that was my introduction in like the old Ultimate Alliance games and stuff like that. And like out of just pure excitement for like the Moon Knight movie or the Moon Knight project,
Shows, yeah.
that was happening. The in-town Comic-Con we had, I went out and I found this comic book vendor there. I was like, "Do you have any Ghost Rider
tugged
Moon
on his
Knight stuff?"
jacket.
I tugged on his jacket. I'm like, "Do you have any Ghost Rider Moon Knight stuff?"
And he's like, yeah, meet me in the bathroom stall. I got a Ghost Rider for you, all right?
And he did. I picked up a
He
Moon
did.
Knight Ghost Rider comic. Yeah, we went to the bathroom. But no,
hey, if you touch me, I'll make sure he's in the MCU.
2030.
Okay.
No, I picked up a couple of these Ghost Rider comics, but yeah, I have one that's Moon Knight and Ghost Rider. Moon Knight's just kicking ass, and Ghost Rider his appearance just zooming in his motorbike in this comic book, and it's so cool. I got that because I'm hoping, that we're gonna get something. And
Good. That Midnight Suns. That is I'm hyped about X-Men, but that is a hype team. Moon Knight, Blade, Punisher, Doctor
I didn't
Strange.
even know Midnight Suns was an actual thing. Like I knew there was
It's
like
newer.
some.
It's newer. It's probably like past 10. I don't know when they debuted, but it's like in the last 10 years, which comics is new.
Mhm.
Like,
Out of all those characters,
I
it's kind of weird for me to hear Punisher in there for some reason. I just feel like he's just such a regular dude.
he's just a fucked up guy, though. No other teams will accept him, right? Because he's a murderer.
Falls in with
Yeah.
fucking
yeah.
Ghost Riders
Exactly.
and Moon Knights.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. I think I we were talking about this in the chat. I don't know. My hope is with Punisher that they do a J.K. Simmons and they just
John Bernthal.
yeah,
How's
they
it
just bring
going?
John Berthel and bring back just ignore the stuff. But I think he will get replaced because he is in there, or she's in the game. But I think Elsa Bloodstone could be a fact because she's in Dark Dimension. And I know Dylan said like, oh, they're separate entities. I know, but they do that a lot in comic books where they like, oh, with Blade, he was just put into the Avengers, and then 2 months later they announced he was going to be in the movie. So they start to put those things in there. So maybe not the game, but if we see her popping up in comic books, I think that could happen. I think Elektra is a strong choice for being she's resurrected, stuff like that. And I also think Scarlet Witch is a strong choice to jump over. And because if Marvel Avengers have like Captain America, Wasp, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, you got a bunch of females that could be on that team. Scarlet Witch fits nice in that supernatural dark world, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't get a fucking year of when they debuted.
Fucking year. Yeah, this whole Ghost Rider thing has just got me so absolutely excited.
Okay, no, I was wrong. 1992, still newer in like comic book world because as we just talked about Batman,
That's the
80
Midnight
years.
Suns
But
stuff?
yeah, Midnight
Yeah.
Suns. But that's not the like current, like the latest run. I think was that, which I haven't read much. Midnight Suns, just know their entity. That was like the Moon Knight and Blade and everything like that. But hey, if they do Midnight Suns movie, we've talked about doing comic book club. We'll definitely do some reading because I'd love to find some arcs and get into that. So.
Totally.
Kirkland, what are you thinking about this?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Ghost Rider fan. I'm definitely hyped for Taylor because, like, if you know Taylor, you know he loves Ghost Rider. So, I mean, yeah, just quick little history lesson here. Way before we even had a podcast, we were working at Target together, and I remember me and Travis were talking or asking Taylor, I think, what his favorite movie of all time, or was it a comic book movie or just any movie?
Which I don't know. Is that
Don't
true?
remember this.
Is that true? That Ghost Rider is your favorite movie? Of
No,
all
it was
time?
Ghost Rider Spirit of
Yeah,
Vengeance.
the
It was
sequel.
just such a weird moment for me because I just felt like I didn't like I mean, maybe I didn't know Taylor fully at the time.
Like you knew everything about him in that moment.
Yeah, exactly. It was just such a what movie? Like of all time, not even comic book movie. So yeah, for as long as I've known Taylor,
at
I've
that
known.
point in time, had you seen Ghost Rider?
To this day, I don't think I've seen Spirit of Vengeance.
Ooh.
Oh my god!
We were at your house one time when it was on, but I
played it in
I
the
wasn't
background.
facing the TV.
Oh, yeah, your
I
back was
caught,
to it.
I caught a glimpse.
Not great.
But yeah, no, Ghost Rider, he's really like unique, especially compared to some of the other like characters that we're getting in the MCU movies and stuff. So, and just now that we have Blade in there, you know, we're getting to these like darker type role or like characters to have their own movies and stuff. It's definitely fitting for him to be in there. So I am really excited to see how it all plays together. Just like when you mentioned like how Phase 5 is that what it's
Phase
gonna be?
4 we're in now. Oh well,
Phase
Phase 5.
Blade.
If he were, Blade.
So,
Sounds like he's the
yeah.
beginning of Phase 5.
So
yeah.
Blade and Ghost Rider starting Phase 5. I'm just like in my mind, I'm like, man, I can't wait to just like be like in that moment where I'm seeing Blade again. Like I didn't think that we were ever gonna see Blade honestly in the MCU.
No.
So I'm just so hyped. Ghost Rider, obviously, that's sweet.
And to me, that's like when you're talking about Blade and Ghost Rider. I'm at the point now where when I said the thing about Ghost Rider, I'll never say that about any character because I just feel like now they could touch anybody. Same thing. There's rumors that Feige wants to use Werewolf by Midnight. It's just like it's a man that turns into a werewolf, and you're gonna put him in the MCU. But it's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, like, so now I just feel like any character they own is just not like. I think we could see MODOK one day. I literally do.
Oh, give me
Before-
MODOK. That's the fucking dream.
Ghost Rider and MODOK, to me, there was still like, and I understand that like Endgame happened, and this isn't that I doubt Feige. I could see them announcing, go, oh, it could do well, but I still thought there was a certain amount of characters that like it just maybe a bit too weird, right? And even like Ghost Rider, like Kirkland said, he's unique, but he's unique to the point where I feel like he's so unique that he might cut off some people, right? Of like my mom sees this hero that's a flaming ghost, like with a skull and chains, it's like. That's not for me. That's kind of horror.
Yeah.
So that's where I felt like I don't know if the MCU will do that because it's so unique. Maybe people won't be into it. But I've kind of forgotten with Spider-Man, Black Panther, they'll do this. They'll make you fall in love with them first, and then. But yeah, I think MODOK, anybody is on the table now. After Ghost Rider and Blade, like I should have thought already with Blade, but now with Ghost Rider, I'll never say that again because this one, and honestly, it's not official. They still gotta make an announcement, but if it does happen, I'm never gonna question it again. You know,
Yeah.
we might see a Howard Duck movie one day. Who knows? He's in the MCU.
He's the new Thanos.
Yeah, he was in the battle. He was at the portals, so he was
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
On the good side, I guess.
On the
I
good
guess he
side.
wouldn't be the new Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if I get that MODOK thing in there, then that's 100% complete. Like live action, those legs just swinging back and forth.
You really like those legs.
I love those legs. That's
That sounds
great.
a lot.
I want to cosplay as MODOK someday when they develop like levitating chairs.
Wow, that's the long con.
That might be
ladies.
past 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on Ghost Rider.
Let's see. This is my final story because I had some other ones I just want to shout out. I like the new Irishman trailer. It looks good. I'm excited for that movie. El Camino. I'm excited for that trailer.
I finally saw that trailer, and I honestly had chills. I had to watch it twice, back to back. I'm so hyped for that movie now.
Yeah, I'm on season 5 on my rewatch, so I cannot wait for that movie.
You're fine, man.
Everyone that
I'm
thinks
catching up. Close.
Everything that thinks Walter White's coming back because you think you hear his voice, it's not him. It's gonna be a ghost or a vision. I've been saying that since the announcement. It's not gonna happen.
I saw ridiculous, just someone comment on that. It was like Walt Jr. is the voice. It's like
Flynn.
It's like, you ready for this? Yes, I am. And then they both just pull out utensils and eat dinner together, and it's just so yeah, just so ridiculous. But I'm sorry, I had to mention that.
Yeah, and then the other quick thing, Sony's developing a Madam Web movie, which makes 0 sense.
I want to hear your take on this because you seemed triggered by it.
Because it's just a character. It's a supporting character who has never ever in the history of Marvel Comics had her own Marvel thing. It's just she's a supporting Spider-Man character who is Doctor Strange-esque, has lots of powers, deals with multiverse, but she's usually used in a setting stuff up, and it's just I try to defend Sony so much during that Disney Spider-Man debacle, and I still do sometimes. And I go, you know what? Maybe they can make a great Spider-Man movie. But then when I hear they're developing a Madam Web movie, I go, oh, right. This is why I was so happy they were back with Spidey was in the MCU. So I will still try and be have some faith.
Faithful.
But yeah, not faithful. I'll have faith, but that's just not. It's just not what you do.
It is interesting because maybe I just read the title. Pull the Taylor. Just read the clickbait article because I wasn't too sure that it was her getting her own standalone movie or they're just talking about having her in there. It's very interesting because Spider-Man's my favorite hero, and I'm not even too familiar with Madam
she's
Web.
A deep cut. She's in the. You'll get to watch her in the. You should definitely watch the Spider-Man 90 animated series if it's on Disney.
I've seen majority of it.
Yeah, well, you should watch it because she's in the later seasons.
You said now that she has a multiverse kind of power.
She can do that.
Thing.
Yeah, she's not slingering in it, but she's has a chair. She's has cards.
It's a levitating chair.
She is sometimes. Yeah. It's a very convoluted character.
His hand-me-down.
I'm thinking, obviously they want to create their own multiverse thing because they have the Spider-Man thing. So maybe it's how they dive into bringing Tom Holland's Spider-Man into, the Spider-Verse. Or maybe it's how they bring in more Tobey and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man into there. I think they have a plan set up.
No, I don't think they got a plan set up. She doesn't need her own movie.
Yeah, but Sony, I think, is in the boat of hey, we're just gonna give you a character movie like Venom. We're gonna give you a movie. Carnage. Maybe we'll give you a movie. Morbius.
I gotta push
back
there.
That doesn't sound like a plan.
I gotta push back there because Venom. I feel if you know Spider-Man, you know who Venom is. He's just such a bigger household name for fans, even if you're not the biggest I almost said Star Wars fan, Spider-Man fan.
If you're a big Star Wars fan, you know who Venom is.
Yeah, no, it's just I feel also that's one of the characters that just everyone was wanting to see him a better version than what we got from Topher Grace's Venom.
We kind of got that.
What are you talking about from Venom?
We kind of got a better version. But
you're saying we kind of got a better version. You're not saying it was a huge step up
from
the look alone?
It was a huge step up because,
just the look alone.
The look alone for sure. Because in most cases, you see superheroes, their sweat is glistening off their 6-pack, 8-pack abs or whatever. Most of the time they're shirtless. But in this case, we had a hero who just looked
pointless.
He looked like a piece of shit. He was sweaty and raggedy throughout the whole movie. He didn't even change his clothes. He just looked like a drug user, garbage guy, but he was just he didn't have any control really for the most part of his power, but he was a superhero portrayed, and it was a very different take and much better than so where to, and then Venom had covering Mary Jane's face. It
is better. I'm just not a fan of my Venom being we should have some tater tots, and it's just
fair enough, but I didn't bring up Venom to have a debate.
Well, that's what we're
doing. Grace and Venom. I was mostly just talking about
you gonna defend that post-credit scene too?
That side character. This guy won't let me go. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm mostly just saying Venom is just such a well-known character for a Spider-Man era, whereas I feel majority of people won't even know who Madam Web is.
What about Morbius? Because that's what I didn't even know who Morbius was.
That's what I was gonna bring up when Kirkland was done talking, but it kept going on forever.
Because you kept interrupting me.
Yeah, Taylor told me to. He messaged me probably.
Texting.
Morbius to me is a really good chance of being their solo. I think that could fail for them critically, and that will make them question. Or not, sorry, maybe critically, because Venom failed for them critically, but I think financially, and that could make them pull back and be like, maybe let's not do a Madam Web movie. Let's do some more. Because even Craven, they're talking about doing a Craven movie. and I still don't think he's popular enough. Like I
No.
think like the popular ones are the Doc Ocks or Green Goblins, but I don't want a fucking Doc Ock movie. I
No, for
don't
sure.
even want a Morbius movie. I don't want a Craven movie. I want them all in Spider-Man. But if you're gonna do solo movies, you got to pick and choose. Kirkland's right. Venom is the one. That's the one that my mom knows. Oh, the Black Evil Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's just that. But Morbius. I don't know. I keep saying this. I don't know if it's on my most anticipated when we do the movie preview at the end of the year. I think it might be just because I just want to see how that goes down. Not because of hype, just because I'm so curious. Why did they choose this movie? Is it going to play? And I don't think it is, because I also don't think, and this is not anything, he has been a good actor, but I don't think Jared Leto is a massive star either. I don't think he's someone that people, unless you're a 32nd to Mars fan, run out to see. So I think that's going to bomb and lose the money, and they will not do a lot of these Sony movies.
Yeah.
And you'll do more Spider-Verses, you'll do more Venoms, Tom Holland's, but I think they'll pull back, be like, we're not doing that Silver Sable movie. We're not doing Craven, because who the fuck's going to see more?
I think they're
I
extremely
will.
limited.
We
you know?
will, but like, I don't know.
I think they're extremely limited in like their pool. I think they, they look at Marvel and they look at like DC, and I think they want to create like their own
100%.
their own universe. And it's like they're very limited because yes, they have Spider-Verse and they can build off of that, but like I feel like they got these limited amount of characters and they want to create this universe, and it's just not going to work for them. Like they see like obviously, I wish that. I could see them totally going up to like Feige and be like, "Hey, can we buy some of your characters?" They're like, "No, you guys go away." But I think that it's kind of like,
Interesting interaction.
oh yeah,
really quick.
They're all
Feige
playing.
handle that. Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, let's go play a round of golf." Feige, and Feige's like, "Okay," and they get out there and like
He has a
just-
lightsaber.
He hits that like 18 hole and and he turns to Feige and says, "So, can we buy some of your characters?" And Feige's like, "Nope," and they just go and they finish their 18th hole. But I
Here now.
They wait till the 18th hole.
They wait
That's
till
a
the
good-
18th
trying to
hole.
steal my gimmicks,
But I think that
I think you're right about the universe thing. The way I look at it is like they have like a regular sized dick and they bought like an XXL condom and they're just like, this will fit on us. It's like, no, it's too small. Like you have lots of wiggle room in there. It's not gonna work.
Wait, what's too small?
The penis.
Oh, okay. Is that
So it's just like flopping. There's just so much there. It's like you don't have
Who's the
enough to
penis
fill
in
this.
this analogy?
Sony
Sony?
is the Spider-Man content is the penis,
Oh, okay.
and like the box office in the world is like the the condom. It's
the
like you
void.
can't-
That's the condom. I was
you
thinking.
can't do even what DC, like obviously it didn't go well, but they could realistically, if those movies were all praised, they could do it because just the wealth of characters. I just don't think Sony can do that. And Spider-Verse I think is very different. That's very family oriented. That's fun. They could do spin-off Spider-Verse movies, but I don't think in live action it works the same,
Well,
and even
that's-
Spider-Verse is their lowest making money Spider-Man movie ever. So it's not like it was a huge hit. It was just really
Wow.
critically, and it won an
Critically, yeah.
Oscar. But it's like I think all of them are like 700 and above, $700,000, and then Spider-Verse is like at 390, only 400. So there's a big leap down. So
So yeah, they'll have to do something that's very like climactic or whatever, and
is Morbius that?
I mean, it depends how they do it. It really does. I would, again, I wish that these characters were just all under the, ownership of Disney and Marvel, because I feel like, with Blade, perfect time. And if they go into like the Midnight Suns, this is the time that's when you throw in Morbius with them, And I feel like that would just play out super, super, super well. And like leave Madame Web in the dark where she belongs for now.
Put her in a Doctor Strange movie.
Put her
or
in a Doctor
something,
Strange
Yeah.
movie, but yeah, just it goes back in with keeping Spider-Man with Marvel, all that stuff. But I just feel like these characters, there's not enough that you can dive into. You can't just I can't take this phone and turn it
he's
into
trying.
a brick of gold. It's not gonna happen. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No one could do that. So that's why that analogy doesn't work.
I think
Someone
Feige could. I think
so-
Feige could walk in and just.
My analogy
fucking
is there's
zap.
some big man that could fill that XXL condom. I don't think there's anyone that can just like turn a phone into a brick of
Jesus
gold.
probably could.
But yeah, Jesus and Feige.
Well, it's one thing to fit into an
And
XXXL
Mads Mikkelsen.
condom, but it's another thing to make like the viewers like climax. So I think that's
what?
what.
That okay. I don't think
It's
that's
I'll
one.
just-
It's one thing to like for them, as you said, like to fit into the condom. But it's another thing, they could fit in there. But then as the audience, we're gonna be like, is that it? I didn't feel anything.
okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
You made it somehow work. I don't know. At first, I
I wa-
didn't understand your raw dog analogy, but that's all right.
I wanted to quickly defend myself when I mentioned the whole thing about Madame Web. I kind of forgot that the Morbius movie was a thing.
Mm.
So I totally agree with you though that it'll probably like their solo where
Eat shit.
yeah, like I'll definitely see it, but I'm not a billion people, right? Like
No.
I'm not gonna blow this movie out. Like even Venom, a lot of people have issues with it, me included. But like it's still made
tons of money. Huge money.
Yeah.
Almost $1 billion.
Yeah, like
Morbius
that's
isn't making
insane. And like even Madam Web, like if everyone knew who Madam Web was, I don't think that would make almost $1 billion.
Madam Web.
With this Morbius movie, it depends how they do it. Because I could go for a good vampire movie nowadays.
But
Like it's been a while.
But what do you think was the last vampire movie for you?
The last vampire movie for me that I
Daybreaker.
that
Underworld,
came out-
Underworld Blood Wars, right?
I like the Underworld
Twilight.
movies. It was probably Underworld 5. Holy crap. Daybreakers was Sam Neill, right?
Yeah, it was. I just don't think. Do you think vampire and then mega hit like Venom? Like here's the thing. Superhero movies, especially for Sony, I think they need to be big blockbusters. I don't think Morbius is a big blockbuster. I think let's say you did him in Spider-Man and everyone just walked out and Jared Leto this is a funny comparison, but he just became like the Heath Ledger Joker of comics. Everyone's like, Morbius is the best villain that's been around since Heath Ledger's Joker, and they're like, we're gonna make a movie. What? This is exciting. I don't think you can just start with Morbius, the living vampire, with Jared Leto.
Are they trying to turn him into an anti-hero kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it'll be like Venom. Yeah,
Because I don't know. I just kind of thought like, I don't want like a soap opera drama or something like that, which I was kind of feeling I was gonna get with this movie. So
what?
Just like that weird camera effect that all soap operas have.
yeah, exactly.
Where's the blood?
Yeah.
Where's the plasma? Why did you think it was gonna be a soap opera drama though? It's a vampire movie.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. There's some vampire movies out there where if it's like just one vampire, it's a very like drama, like soap opera, like kind of like aesthetic or like vibe
So you
to
mean
it.
like you're not a fan of Interview with a Vampire,
I was gonna
clearly,
say,
right? Like it's a
I'd
deep dive into their immortality and they're depressed or they're sad. Like you don't want that. You want like fucking blood everywhere.
Van Helsing.
Yeah. And,
I
like,
want
him
fucking
fly-
Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want Transylvania. Let's go there. Take me there.
We're
Sony.
not going to Transylvania. It's a guy who experiments on bats.
on bats. So okay,
Plasma.
so we're getting like,
We're getting the Hulk, but instead of turning the Hulk, he turns into a vampire.
wow, interesting.
And
I don't know. I mean, they could make it exciting. I don't want it to be like that equivalent to 2001's Hulk. I want it to be like something like I don't know. I want it to be
Did
exciting.
that Hulk come out in 2001?
I'm gonna say 2001. You want
Which
to say
one is that?
2000?
I'm
The
gonna
first
say
Hulk.
2003.
So the first one, like not the MCU
Yeah,
one?
the first one. The first one.
2000. Oh, I got to do a quick guess. I'll just do 2002, just to be
2002?
different.
Okay.
I don't think that's
2003,
right.
bitches.
2003. What'd you say?
2003.
After you Googled it.
You can look. My hands aren't even on the
I
fucking.
saw it on his eyes.
Then why didn't you guess
The
2003?
reflection. I want to be different.
Oh,
Yeah,
you want to be wrong.
I don't want it to be just boring. I want it, and I feel like it's gonna be
Well,
boring.
I don't want any movie to be boring. You're not wrong there. They need to. I just don't know what they can do to make that movie good. They just need to. They got to make the best vampire movie of all time, and I don't expect.
I mean,
that.
maybe they throw Tom Holland in there for a little bit, but
They
I don't
could.
even think that's gonna save it. To be honest,
No, but I think there's a chance he could have a cameo in it or a
that would
post-credit.
just destroy.
It's happening. It's 100% gonna happen. He's
Oh,
gonna be in that. He's
no.
gonna be in Venom, and I'm gonna be so.
I'm
depressed.
okay with him in Venom, but I don't
Yeah.
want to see. I don't want to see
You're
Peter
gonna get
Parker.
a Venom Morbius Spider-Man crossover.
I don't want to see Peter Parker
Madam
facing
Web.
vampires. I'm sorry. I would.
But you
want
want to see the MCU face vampires because if Spider-Man was in the MCU, vampires would be there.
Yeah, but at
numbers
least
blade.
it wouldn't come right away. It wouldn't be like, okay, in the MCU we're throwing in this werewolf and Peter Parker into a Coliseum fighting it off. I think in this case with the MCU we're getting like they dabble into like Blade and like Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, She-Hulk. Like they're dabbling into these characters that are very different, and it bleeds into like even with like Doctor Strange, just dabbing into this multiverse where we're gonna see some janky shit.
I think he would have a cameo as Peter Parker or Spider-Man. I don't think he would swing in there and be like, "Here, Morbius, I'm here to fight." Like I don't think it'd be like that.
Okay.
I think it would just be, "Oh, he's in this universe, and we could see them together."
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'll have to wait to see this movie. It's gonna be wild as fuck.
The last news I have, and maybe do you guys have any video game news?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so we'll end with that. Any other movie news? No. Okay. Last news: Jurassic World. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, all coming back for Jurassic World 3. I'll say as somebody, as we talked about last week, it's like this newscast like a sequel last week. I like Jurassic World less every time I see it, and I despise Jurassic World 2. If I wasn't on this cast, I'd be done watching these movies. But they fucking got me back with these three. I love these characters. They're just some of the best movie characters of all time. Alan, he's coming back. Jeff Goldblum, which is great because Ian was barely in Jurassic World 2. and God, why am I forgetting Laura Dern's character? Her name.
Ellie Sattler.
Ellie, yeah. Just another great piece. Obviously, I forgot her name, so someone's going to call me, no, it's not that great, but like, I love all these characters. Jurassic Park is a top 100 easily, one of the greatest movies of all time. Fell in love with those characters, and I hope we see them again in big roles. So they got me excited just to see them back. I hope it's not an awful movie. I don't want to see them in a shit Jurassic World 2 type movie, but I am excited they're coming back. So they got me looking forward to this movie in one way, at least, when I was looking forward to it 0%, maybe negative 100%, but now they got me. So
That's interesting because I definitely like those characters from like the originals, but this doesn't get me like I don't know, like
is it because they're all white? Like to
absolutely,
yeah.
100%. Get some diversity in there. No,
They recast Sam Neill's like Sam Jackson, and Sam Neill's like, "What the hell? I'm still alive. I'm still Alan, motherfucker, wake up."
Yeah, no, like I really like those characters, and I feel like it's fun them having like getting them back, but it doesn't get me like overly excited for this. I feel like that just goes to show how much Jurassic World 2 just killed it for me. Like I was just so uninvested in like the series now, like unfortunately, and like it will be cool seeing them back, and who knows, maybe I'll go see the movie and I'll like it a lot more. And
you're gonna see it. You're gonna see those characters. You're gonna see a trailer, and you're like, all right, let's go to this. Let's hope.
that'll definitely be my reaction.
My little
100%.
inner
Not excited or anything. Just okay.
And then
yeah.
Morbius will pop in. And you're, oh, I can't wait.
In Jurassic World. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah,
Crossover?
Jurassic World 3. We've also made vampires.
Life finds a way.
Life
So
finds plasma.
like I don't know, like was majority of the fans just like blown away with
They're
this
pretty
news?
hyped,
Okay,
yeah.
so I guess I'm in the minority.
It's like the like Leia and Han coming back, right? It's these three iconic characters that started the franchise.
Okay.
We haven't seen them in a long time. We haven't seen them since I think 2003. I'm pretty sure. And
2003, is that your bet?
my hands are.
I'm gonna go with 2001 again.
What's your bet?
2004.
Okay.
2004. Interesting. I'm sticking with 2001.
Actually, no, 2004 is way too late.
2002.
2001. I'll go Taylor.
You're going with me? Oh, mama. Oh, baby. Jurassic Park 3. What do we got? Did you put Jurassic
Park
World
3?
Yeah, Jurassic Park 3 was the last time
okay.
we saw Ellie
2004.
Sattler.
I'm gonna go.
You're going 2004?
Going back.
2001.
2001.
you
I
fucker.
know my, I know my shit.
You just got Hulk wrong.
I know my Jurassic Park shit.
Okay, you
Fair
excited for
enough.
this, Taylor?
Were you done talking, Kirkland?
Not really, but
Oh,
I guess
wow.
so. Yeah, no, I'm done.
You were done. I could tell he was done. I tried to fucker.
I know I had something going there.
Seamless
But,
transition and ruined it just like Morbius. You know we're gonna get a stupid trailer of Jared Leto going, like that's in our future. Like he's gonna have teeth and fangs. And he's gonna be making grunts and stuff.
Green hair,
Oh
face
boy.
tattoos,
Well, he's yeah,
bloodsucker
vampire.
on his forehead.
Yeah, Nightwalker, hate sun.
Oh,
It's a teardrop, but it's
God.
blood, and like he has a grill to vampire teeth.
God.
Oh man.
Fuck Suicide Squad. Fuck that movie. Why did you make that movie? Thank God Joker's coming out. I can finally wash the taste out of my mouth from Suicide Squad. It's been 3 years that that's our Joker. Seeing stupid Halloween costumes with the damage.
I saw
terrible-
behind the scenes photos of Harley Quinn in this house, and it was Jared Leto's Joker in the window. You didn't see his
Yeah.
face, but you'll get him again. I think
He's apparently in Birds of Prey, but they didn't bring Jared Leto back, so they just have a stand-in for him, and you just see him from the back, the Joker. You don't see actually Jared Leto, which I guess we gotta fucking tie to that. How did that happen? How did it happen? Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and then Jared Leto's Joker, and now we got Joaquin, and then Cesar Romero. We were so close, like perfect Jokers, and oh my God,
it's tragedy.
oh my God.
Taylor, what do you think about this?
Jurassic Park, Jurassic
recasting?
World.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan. Right now, this is like the ultimate cast because we got Kevin Feige doing Star Wars. We got Ghost Rider most likely coming back in here, and we got this Jurassic World 3 news happening. This is just the ultimate trifecta here for me. It's just fan freaking tastic, and I for the longest time even my sister who is so disconnected from technology and everything like that, she's a full on hippie. but she loves Jurassic Park, and we're doing our Jurassic Park marathon right now. And she tells me all the time, like, they have to bring back, Sam Neill for Jurassic World 3. Like, they have to. And I told her the news. She was, like, so ecstatically, like, happy because it's massive for us. Like, I told most.
It's what for us?
Massive.
I heard Madison.
Yeah,
It's Madison for us.
Yeah.
You guys are using her as a verb.
We do, yeah. But I sent it to my cousin Dylan, and like it's
Just to Dylan Musk.
Yeah, your cousin.
Yeah. It's huge news
Couldn't get the
for
Skype working, but shouts out.
it's huge news for like me and my family because like we all grew up on Jurassic Park. Like we had the toys and everything, and it was just such a huge thing. And this is just fantastic to have like Alan Grant come back in here and like. He's just I love Sam Neill's like spin-off shows he's done where he's like checking out wineries and
What's
stuff
that guy
like
been
that.
doing these days? Like,
He travels. He's got his own winery.
He's
like
in Thor Ragnarok. He's in Hunt for the Wilder People. You should see that really good movie. Taika Waititi's second movie. Very good.
He was in Thor Ragnarok. He was
plays
Odin and the
fake
play.
Odin. Yeah.
Sam Neill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so like brief
Really?
and quick, but it's so funny because like the way he just I love how he's acting in that scene. He just seems like he doesn't care about this shit. Like he's supposed to act like that. Like yeah, it's great, and I love it. He like lifts his eye patch up when like Loki reveals himself. It's so good.
Shouts out to that guy.
It is good. And my favorite thing about that scene too, Matt Damon, when he reveals it is Loki. Matt Damon's like it is
Yeah.
Loki.
But yeah, just I love Sam Neill, and like for me and my sister, like if we
If
we
write
had
a
to
book already.
Yeah.
Fucking me and
Oh,
my
yeah.
sister. Every sentence started. Me, my sister, my family,
So
and
Madison.
toys. Yeah.
if we had to associate like an actual movie character to my dad, it would 100% be Alan Grant because the things that he says are just like, and I love it in Jurassic Park
What have you
3.
done?
Like Laura Dern is like, you're still the best, and he's like, oh, I'm the last of my breed. Like it's just random, like into like different things and stuff. Like my dad, like he's like that as a character. It's hilarious. So like,
Does your dad have a friend named Billy?
Fucking Billy.
Fucking Billy, I rescued your hat.
Oh man.
Bring Billy back in Jurassic.
Billy.
Also played by Sam Jackson. He's playing Alan Grant and Billy Jackson.
Rescued your hat, motherfucker. Like so good.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah.
it's just this. I've been like I said. If you tune
My
into
sister.
if you tune into last week's cast, I Google Jurassic World 3 once every like 2 weeks or whatever. Like and like
I fucking hate you, by the way. I posted a photo and it was like director announces Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum coming back, and he's just like, so does that mean they're coming back to the movie?
that was a headline from Collider, which I don't know. Like it was Collider reporting on. I don't know.
It said
these
the
people.
director announced it though. He was on stage with them.
Yeah, but this falls in line with like those things where those other sites like we got this covered. We're like, yeah, check out.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
this person's confirmed.
Collider is almost A tier.
I don't know
The
these
one
Collider
time
people.
Taylor doesn't eat
Yeah.
into the,
I don't
the
eat into those
clickbait.
I
headlines.
almost felt like I wasn't gonna answer him, but I did.
Oh, but no, I saw like there were the official posts of like the crew walking in like the Jurassic Park, and it was like Jurassic World, and it was like the three walking on the steps of Jurassic Park. That was cool. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's for sure coming. That's cool. But
Is your backstory over?
almost. But yeah, no, I just think for so long
Tell us more about Battle Big Rock again, please. And
I was gonna go with
T2. Yeah. Fuck you, asshole.
But no, this is just great. Like, I'm super, super stoked, and I'm just happy to see like Chris Pratt working side by side with Alan Grant. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be good.
Would you be mad if Alan Grant got brought back and he died in the very
If
first
he
scene?
dies in this movie, I am gonna be.
He doesn't even
fucking
die in the
upset.
movie. He just dies at Battle of Big Rock.
Well, oh my
Two.
God, fuck.
Yeah.
He almost was he was almost supposed to be killed in Jurassic Park 3. In a deleted scene, they would have one more action sequence. After they get to the beach, helicopters were going to come in and land, and pterodactyls
shoot him down.
No, yeah, gun him down.
Yeah.
They would have had it where
Enough of you, Alan Grant.
the boat from the beginning would have been on the actual beachhead, and
Wait a second. The boat from the very beginning, like the flashback with the kids. The kid when he's like
in the
here-
parachute,
Yeah.
In a.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna give you some crazy shit here. So when they get to the beach after the raptor scene, Alan Grant was gonna see that boat washed up on shore with like claw marks and stuff, and he was gonna walk towards it while the kid and his parents walk up and they're waving the helicopters, and one of the helicopter lands, and then Alan would have looked inside the boat and see claw marks, and he would have. The kid would have said, "Alan, the helicopters are here. We're safe." And the line, Alan Grant would have turned around and said, "No, we're not." Like, they're in.
Did they film this?
They filmed some of it, I think. Yeah. So he would have turned and said, "They're in the trees. They're in the trees." And then a bunch of pterodactyls would have come out of the trees and swarmed the helicopter, the one still in the air.
No.
And apparently this is like going in intense detail. One of the pterodactyls' heads would have been sliced off and exploded from the blades, but then
the head would have exploded?
It would have got caught in the propeller, but it would have taken that helicopter down. And then the other one, Alan Grant wouldn't have got on in time, but the helicopter would have taken off. And then the Kirby guy would have thrown one of those like ladders out. Yeah. And then as the helicopter is going, Alan Grant just grabs onto it, just barely in time. And this helicopter starts going away. And then he climbs, and then a pterodactyl comes and grabs onto like the bottom of the ladder and gets hooked on there. And so then this gets even better. Billy hands his Velociraptor claw to Alan Grant.
Oh no!
And then, yeah,
oh my god!
And then Alan Grant's like slicing at its head with this thing.
Oh my god! No!
Oh yeah.
And the weird thing, because this is still the helicopter that picked them up, right? This is the U.S. Navy. They had a fucking gun or something, but no, Alan used his gold claw. Oh my god, that sounds terrible. I gotta find these storyboards.
He's like apparently like slashing at it, and then like I can't remember how it happens, but it eventually like breaks free and like it flies away because it can't keep up with the helicopter. So it goes back to the island. But then this is basically explains like what happened to the boat at the beginning. Like it was pterodactyls that were responsible for killing the crew of that boat. But then he climbs up and he gets in there, and in this scene Billy actually dies. He never actually was rescued in this version. So they
but that changes the whole movie because he got attacked in the middle of the movie, so he would have had to been there at the end, right?
He wasn't there at the end. Like in this case, like he was
when he died. He just died in the middle.
He would have just died in that part of the movie. Yeah, they wouldn't have brought him back. But yeah, he climbs up, and then they make their joke like where do you think they're gonna go now? Do you think they'll go to the main line and like I don't know. I think one of the characters says like
movie,
nuke
right?
him or something or whatever.
That's the joke.
They
where do you think they're gonna go?
Like
to the mainland, nuke them.
They're like,
it's not quote unquote. That's
good
not
job,
exactly
Pagliacci.
it, but yeah, it's just I was
My
just
doctor.
I was reading.
Pagliacci. Sure, it's Pagliacci, the clown from Watchmen.
End of
Check
joke.
out our true end of joke.
End of
Punchline. Snare drum.
But
he
yeah,
should fucking play Ghost Rider. By the way.
He should.
Yeah,
I'd
he
be
got
down
that
for
voice
that.
down. Check out our Watchmen Retro, doll level, this weekend coming. It's a good one.
But yeah, that was like a whole nother action sequence that could have happened with the movie, but they changed it. So I would have been down with it. I'd love to see Alan Grant swing on a fucking ladder of a helicopter, swinging his raptor.
I just picture the pterodactyl holding it, and then it's like lifting up the ladder, and he's like, and they're like, oh, like holding on, and he's like it just feels very comedic in
very
my mind.
cartoony.
Yeah.
It would have been great. Or are you picturing like that Batman Adam West, like
shark
punching
bat
the
shark repellent, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta look into that.
I would love to see like a helicopter pterodactyl Jurassic Park sequence, because they even cut that from Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, because they had a scene there where the teams were being rescued by helicopters and they were taking off and going over these cliffs. A bunch of pterodactyls came at them and like latched onto the helicopters and were like attacking them and everything. And granted, we got a brief bit of that in Jurassic World, but I want like full on like 100 pterodactyls fucking swarming a fleet of helicopters and just going to fucking town. That would be super sick. But again, that was cut. But they do have scenes like storyboard scenes that were sketched out in Lost World for that. I watched the bonus features that Dylan tells me to fucking watch all the time.
Don't
features.
just watch Star Wars special features, my friend.
Damn,
is that it?
That's wild.
Yeah.
When does Jurassic World 3 come out?
I think it's June 21st, 2001. You better check.
2001.
2021. Fuck.
We missed
I'm in 2001. I'm dated here. Yeah, it comes out 2021, so it's a long time, which sucks. But I think
Yeah.
it's June 21st.
Well, who knows? Maybe that might be the finally prime time to do a retro 2021.
Oh yeah, I got the thumbnails. I made the thumbnails like 2 years ago for the Jurassic Park retro. Jesus.
Even though I told him we're not doing it because we're too busy. He's like, I just want to make them anyways. Taylor, whatever your video game news hit, go do it. All I got is I liked the Last of Us trailer. I'm hyped. It's coming out February 21st. I'm not a fan of that just because there's so much stuff coming out already in the fall, and then like Cyberpunk and Avengers, but I'll be playing it, and they finally revealed Joel is back. Some people speculate he might be a ghost or something like that. I'm just happy we got to see the first shot of him. I think the reason what's going on in that trailer is I think that he's like, oh, you can't do this alone. She's like, why are you here? I think she found out what he did at the end of the first game, and he's kind of been excommunicated from her life or the camp, and that's why he's back, where she might go and die, but he's going to help her, and because he did some terrible stuff, and she maybe rejected him as well because she might have found out, but I'm trying not to spoil it, but then she needs his help. So that's what I think happened.
I was very scared I was going to get spoilers. I mean, I kind of did, but
Are you going to play the game before the second one?
I'm playing it like right now.
Oh.
Playing the first one.
How'd you get it?
I bought it. It was like $5 1
you
month or
done
something.
that. It's free
It's
on
free.
PS Plus next month.
I shouldn't have. If only I could go back in time and tell myself not just drop $5 on a great game.
I'm
But,
playing through it too.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm playing through it too.
Nice.
Right now? Are you guys going to
Slowly.
get the second one then? Oh, wow.
Well, I was going to say, I was pretty happy with this news because there was some speculation that they're just going to wait for PS5. So I'm glad I don't have to drop like fucking $700 or whatever the PS5 is going to be just to play this game.
It's on 2 Blu-ray discs.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be
remember
big.
hearing about that. It's
Well,
gonna
if
be
you
a big
do
one.
it, we'll review it, even though Kirk and I still
I'm
never reviewed Red
very
Dead.
not good
Yeah.
at playing through games like really fast.
Yeah,
I like
so
to
that's probably a no-go.
stew on them.
It's probably a solo Travis review. Stew on them. 8K buys like 3 other games. Like, oh, I'll get back to
You
it.
don't go
Go
in
back
dry.
to-
You just like to take your time.
Sure,
Yeah, like that condom thing, You guys gotta get back on Red Dead Online. I'm very much enjoying it. I just caught the Wolfman. Very scary. I had him dead to rights, and then he just said grizzly, and the grizzly just ran at me. He had a grizzly trained. It was nuts.
Damn.
That's actually fucking scary.
Yeah, because he
Holy
has
shit.
wolves trained, and I took those out, and then I find him, and he's just running. He has no guns. I'm like, oh, this is easy bounty. And then when he yelled grizzly, it just came from out of nowhere. But I took it down, and I got him.
Grizzlies
back.
are fucking scary in that
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah, and I took him in alive too. That bounty. So,
Damn.
yeah. Red Dead Online, doing some good stuff. Taylor,
Quickest hand in the West. Quickest, what is it?
quickest draw on the wrist.
Or it's like left hand in the West. I'm fucking.
I don't know. Taylor, what do
take
you
it
got
away,
for game
Taylor.
news? You can end off our cast.
Yeah, video game news. I'm going to just talk about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 DLC that came out. It is fucking fantastic. Let me tell you, the
Fantastic.
Felucia map is absolutely gorgeous. It's
Bye,
amazing.
Felucia.
There's apparently a Sarlacc pit on here. I have not yet found it, but there's so many different. Like I've only played the map in what is it called? Not it's the. Why am I drawing? It's Supremacy, I think.
Wow, you don't know your shit. You're not.
There's,
Star
no, there's so
Wars
many
in
game
here.
modes that they've added. I can't remember, but I think
You don't
it's,
know who's in Young Avengers.
Yeah, fuck. But it's the Supremacy game mode where you basically like capture the command posts and get enough points, and then you get to the drop ships, and it goes up to the capital ships, which they changed it up before. When you get up to the capital ships, you have to progress through certain objectives, and then you get to an area where you have to basically just interact with 2 stations to destroy them. But in this case, they actually have it where there's like 3 massive generators you got to get to and just fucking like launch your weapons arsenal against it and just annihilate it. And it's great. Like on this scale now with Felucia in here and all the stuff they have, like rolling in his droidicas down the aisles of these capital ships, and even on Felucia itself, the map is so beautiful. There's random like poisonous like plants that'll like hurt you and stuff like that. But there's like
Just like life.
there's like fenced areas with laser walls that you can activate, deactivate, and
Also, just like life.
just like life. And it's just so visually gorgeous. And the Republic Commando that they added in there, the clone commandos, are so awesome. I do wish that they could be their cost to play as them should be amped up a little bit more, because I think everyone's just spamming them and getting them because they're really
Only
cheap.
you would want to like screw the players. Like, let's make it harder to get these characters.
No, because honestly,
Wow.
he is so beefy, because basically he's got his ultimate that he can use. Basically, it buffs him up and like gives him like more defense, and then every time he deals damage, it rejuvenates his health, which alone is like an insanely overpowered ability. Because you can just, if someone's one-on-oneing you, you can just click it and you're good to go. You'll beat them easily. And then his other ability is he's got a grenade launcher, and then his other one he has is why am I drawing a blank? Shit, I can't remember it.
Dildo water gun.
Sure, we'll call it dildo water gun.
Ketchup balloon.
But he's just
Assless chap.
He's assless chaps. He's so stacked, but he's a fantastic character to play as. I just wish that he would
Chili
cost
Rainbow.
more because the ARC Trooper is not as well built as this character is, but he costs more to use, and all he has is like a detonatable trip mine and like dual blasters, and that's like nothing great, like a charge shot. They should just need to flip out the costs around because it's definitely a little unbalanced, and everyone just goes to play as the commando, so you don't get to really play as him too often. But
That's why. That's the real reason today comes out. It's not fair. I don't get to play as a commando.
no, I mean I can live with that. It's just even
you
like
can't.
the heroes, everyone
texted
fucking
me.
plays as the heroes, and I can never fucking pick my Yoda, which is
3
fucking stupid.
3 a.m. I get this text. I still can't play as the commander, and I just like go to sleep.
Go to sleep. But I've yet to try the offline co-op stuff, but they did add instant action, which I'm really excited to try because you can completely customize like the duration of the match and like how many points you need, because it's just going back to capturing command posts.
Was instant action not in the game originally?
No, originally it was just like a bunch of like I think it was like Conquest and just a bunch of like heroes versus villains and PvP.
That's really sick that they added that though, because that was like my favorite part of just like the original Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah.
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 So good.
The 4-player co-op, like I need to have like some people come over and get some more Xbox controllers so we can try it out or whatever. But I'd love to see like Battlefront 2 like pop off into the gauntlet here, because it has
Who banned it?
it's yet to do so. Only Battlefront
that's a
1.
lie.
Only Battlefront 1 was in the gauntlet.
That's
Battlefront
true.
2 hasn't been in there yet. We played it though on that live stream, which was pretty cool. You, me, and Kyle going
we
to
did.
town. That was
Yeah.
good. So there's lots of stuff in that game that just it's really turned around. So if you're gonna call me a fucking nonce or whatever, just be
What?
nice about it. This guy. Remember the guy I ranted about that comment? He called me a nonce, fucking nuance or whatever. He just totally laid me out to fucking dry.
I
and
don't
was like,
remember,
I'm not
but that's
hanging there.
okay. You don't have to recap.
Yeah, no,
May-
I was
maybe
being
after
called.
cast.
I was being called horrible things, and the guy was talking about like that Scarlett Johansson was a full blown man. Would you still sleep?
Let's not get back to that. We talked about that last week, all right? You don't need to read.
This is a sequel.
Yeah.
Okay, well then moving that aside,
Don't JJ us.
I'm
There's
just
still more.
no, that was it for like the gaming news.
This guy called me a tool, and I really didn't like it.
Oh, actually, I will say one more gaming news. So, Xbox Games for Gold, if you're an Xbox player, which I know you all are because Xbox is fucking lit.
2 out of 3 people in here are not Xbox players. Just gonna
Yeah.
preface that.
The Games for Gold, you can snag Friday the 13th, which is going to be cool. Super cool. It's free. And you can get the Bolt game, which is free. And there's...
Ow!
I'm so glad that you brought that one up.
These bolts.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
PS4, you get Last of Us, but no Xbox. You get that bolt
You
action.
get that Bolt. And then there's also an Elephants game on there. I also
good.
will say they
Good.
announced the new Call of Duty. The Spec Ops will be exclusive to PS4 for
Yeah.
the first year.
Mhm.
So...
I tried to tag you in that just to throw
You
some
tried
shade.
to. A lot of people are upset about that. I personally don't mind or care because I wasn't huge into the Spec Ops. It was fun to do, but like I'm multiplayer all the way, and like that the campaign is gonna be
Pwn
great.
and noobs.
Pwn and fucking
That's what
noobs.
you fucking live for.
Oh yeah, those 12-year-olds that fucking 12-year-olds in Call of Duty tell me what to do and shit. It's
Calling you
fucking
nuance.
annoying. Yeah, call me you fucking nonce, you whatever. My friend, actually my classmate, I had to convinced him to get back on Xbox Live and get Gears 5, and he was like, I don't know if I should, man. I don't want some kid telling me he fucked my mother and stuff like that. And I'm like, it won't happen that much, but it's totally fine. We'll get back in there. We'll pwn noobs, but
All right.
My other thing I want to shout out is leading into like the outro here.
Evil laugh.
Bolt. I love Bolt.
That is such
Are
an
we getting
evil
a
laugh.
player perspective on Bolt?
Well, no, it was on Xbox 360, so I won't get one for that.
Sorry, fans.
Yeah, sorry. Unless you really fucking want it, maybe we'll get Travis to do it.
$25 tier. You get. Well, he'll play. I'm not doing. Don't throw me under the boat for Bolt.
Did you like that movie?
But I don't think I've ever fully seen it. But I liked it enough. I love John Travolta.
If you join the $500 tier, we'll do a commentary track for you for Bolt.
That's a. There's no $500 tier anymore. It's $250.
$250.
Reduced rate.
Well, if you do 250, we'll do a review for it. Won't do a commentary track.
Or the $25 tier. We also said we will do a commentary track or a retro for any movie you want. So
Well, that's a good deal.
yeah,
then.
maybe avoid
Shit.
the 25.
But if you do 250, we'll specifically do both. For
yeah,
ya.
yeah, I'll add that in the description.
But anyway, so I was gonna say I was gonna shut this out at the beginning of the cast, but I didn't get the opportunity because we just broke right into Feige.
I
Just
know. I
went
forgot
in dry.
to promote Extra Life too. I'm really disappointed.
Oh
myself.
shit!
Yeah.
But yeah, check out the poll on our Facebook page happening right now because it's literally gone into like a full Civil War mode. We got Captain America versus Iron Man that's kicked off. So
Oh, kicked. So Woody lost.
Woody lost.
Wow,
Yeah,
he
I'm
lost to
sorry.
Fucking
yeah.
Shazam.
I voted for that too.
You
'cause-
voted for Shazam?
No, I voted for Woody.
You vote for Shazam. You're such a piece of fuck.
I vote for Sam.
Yeah, you.
I don't
did.
even remember voting
You
for
Piece
that.
of fuck.
Piece of
I
fuck.
can't be announced.
You
I can't
piece of
believe
fuck.
you. Like
It was
who
close.
votes for Shazam over Woody?
No shit.
Shazam sucked.
But yeah, it's I think last I checked it was 30-30 for Captain America and Iron Man. So I don't know.
Tie?
It was a tie. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, Travis is pulling up the update right now
Well,
live.
it can't
as
be
we speak.
30-30 because there's 90 votes. So I'm not doing the math
Oh
wrong.
no. Someone's got the lead here.
No, Iron Man definitely has a lead at 52 votes with Captain America at 38. So Captain America, get up there, everybody. Go vote. Go put it up. I'm voting for Cap right now.
Me too.
Boom.
Yeah,
Look at
It
that.
can turn around.
Let's
It
go.
can turn around.
I
I mean,
thought that for Woody.
many people are predicting that it'll be Iron Man and Spider-Man at the end.
I've seen some one guy he's like, why even do this poll? We know John Wick's going to get to the finals. I'm like, I hope John Wick loses to Spider-Man. I'm going to tag that guy. And then
You're gonna tag him?
Dylan's going to get mad at me.
Don't look at that.
But no, I won't tag him. He was just like, it's clearly obvious it's going to be John Wick and Iron Man. But
Yeah.
I'm just happy we're getting Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
versus
you'll get your
Godzilla.
fucking Detective Pikachu Godzilla
And
shit.
Godzilla's going to lose to Pikachu, and it's
I
going to
don't
be
know.
glorious.
I don't know.
All the links are down below. Like I said, I forgot, but please, Extra Life, 2 weeks from now, we're going to announce who Taylor's mystery opponent is because Dylan Musk will be back in town. We got some big, interesting, exciting things. Don't say what I've told you guys about already, what's going to be happening, but we got huge news on the tournament. First ever thing we're doing for the 24-hour stream. We got 3 title matches, so it's going to be popping off big time. You're going to want to stay tuned. Oh, I almost spoiled something big time. Hunka Hunka's coming back. Maybe some other people might be coming back. It's going to be a good time. It's for charity. We're trying to raise $1,500. Dylan Musk is going to shave his head. I think I don't know. Should I do like a Facebook poll? I don't know. I just like go back and forth. But I think I'm going to shave my head. I'm going to decide by time joke, or I have to keep going back and forth. But $1,500, it goes towards BC Children's Hospital. It's a really good cause. It helps out a lot, especially someone, and Jessica can talk to because she had a child. She had some stuff she had to deal with. I've had a child. Means a lot to us that that's the charity we go for. So I hope you can help us hit that goal. We've hit our goal every year. It's a lofty goal, I know, but if you can't donate, $1 helps, even a penny, whatever you can donate helps. But if you can't, please share and spread that link when we are live so people that can donate will get their eyes on it. So it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I do want to shout out because I forgot we realized if you are watching video-wise, we have Sex and the City in front. That's our movie of the week, ladies and
I forgot to
gentlemen.
shout that out as well.
Shout
so
out
thank you,
Kirkland.
Taylor.
I was going to
Did you
ask
tell me
you
to
if we
shout out?
should shut it out or if we should just leave it there and people just go, why Sex in the City? There?
I was thinking about that like halfway through the cast. I didn't want to like break up the
Yeah.
conversation that we're having. So
No, it was
Congratulations.
Kirkland's like brilliant idea. You know, maybe every newscast will have a movie of the week there. So this week, yeah, go watch Sex and the City.
Yeah, that's our recommendation.
Taylor's just name dropping. What if like 99% of the fans are just like that was the dumbest fucking idea, and whoever came up with that should just fucking
Yeah, Taylor, you should have pulled a Kirkland and said we chose Sex and the
Yeah.
City.
we
We think the Russo brothers are going to direct Sex and the City 3. Thank you very much for tuning in. Next week is the fucking Joker movie. I cannot wait. I've been waiting my whole life for this.
it's gonna be a joke.
I can't. Ha. Good job, Pagliacci. Thank you very much for tuning in. And next week, I promise you, will not be boring. Boom.
Please.
Bye.
I knew you were hyped, and I